Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
If Evan could just play this out in like a computer, he'd rather do that.
What do you say?
I'd rather just play the game and not deal with all the other nonsense.
We're back, baby. Yeah, but that's part of the fun. We're back in the mix, Evan. Like, you're too young. We're back.
I literally was physically in New Orleans when they won their first Super Bowl, but I'm too young.
It would be easy just to, I'm watching a random Bruins game on a Friday night with nothing to do, and hey, let's put a couple bucks on it,
Might be tapping that app if I didn't work for a team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen something like that, but if you look at the injury report, everyone had hamstring injuries.
Okay.
Is that allowed? Does the league allow that?
Are you allowed to have a hamstring injury?
You can hate watch Rodgers.
You scout.
No, I don't really hate watch a lot. And I don't really,
what will make Patriots fans more upset? That's what I want to happen.
So let's
What
do
can I
that.
argue with the listeners and Evan about?
I'm in. So what do we pick? What do we do?
Well, I'm telling you right now, Texans win. Rodgers doesn't even finish the game, and it's not because of the score.
Wow.
Nobody roots for injuries like Fred outside of Lucas Oil Stadium next to a trash barrel, just with his head down, distraught.
Who?
It wasn't a member of the show. It was
Member of the
someone who
media?
used to produce the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's because he was drunk.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, and the season continues. 75% of the teams are on vacation. 8 left, and the Patriots are one of them, baby. Shut up all those haters, right? Right, Evan?
Yeah.
Shut them all up.
Shut up.
Take that soft schedule and shove it.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're here.
Just beat one of the best defenses in the league. And one of our defense shut down
Who saw that coming?
Not me.
Justin Herbert.
Do you know who's on the fraud watch is Justin Herbert.
Yeah, whatever you think's going to happen in the playoffs is probably not going to happen. So this is unbelievable. We're on to the Houston Texans on Sunday, 3:00, and here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Next stop AFC Championship, if you ask me.
Oh, boy.
I'll do my Thursday pick right now.
I haven't even worked myself up where
Let's
I'm
go.
terrified of the Texans yet.
You'll get there.
I'm getting there. I'll be there by tomorrow. I'll be like,
You'll
I'm
get
really
there by 1
concerned.
o'clock.
I'm very concerned.
Forget about tomorrow. Give it an hour.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. It's Evan, it's Paul, it's me, it's Deuce, it's Matt and Alex. And 16-3, no one saw that coming. No one saw that result coming. But here we are, headed to the divisional round, final 8, feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling really good about this team. I know, like, you would hope that they'd have more than 16 points, but listen, it's everybody's first playoff game. Now you got that under your belt. I'm looking for more offensive production next week. I feel good.
I feel good, too. I mean, the way the defense played, it was really encouraging just to see them kind of come back to that form I felt like that they had the beginning of the season when they were really healthy. But to me, it was a great sign. It just, you have that turnover. They take over at the 10.
That was it.
I mean, and this is a defense that we all know it's been terrible in the red zone all year. To pitch a stop on, on 4th down, which is another part of it we can get into about what just take the points. It's, there's only going to be 19 points scored in this game, and you're passing up 3 of them. But just an outstanding effort from the defense. I mean, Milton Williams, when you signed him, everything you were hoping to get from that guy is an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fact that they could win a fight this way is really encouraging because you're not going to win 4 straight games playing one way. You're going to have to win different types of football games and games that declare different ways. This declared as a defensive battle, and their defense made more plays than the Chargers defense did, and your offense was able to find a little bit of something in the second half to move the ball enough to win the game. So you have one of those games. I think this next one will probably be pretty similar, but at some point you might play a game that's 35-30 and you might have to win it that way. That's how the playoffs work. So the fact that they were able to win a slugfest against a really good defense and a really good quarterback is encouraging because I don't think that's the formula that most of us thought they would win
I
by.
agree. Yeah, the defense was by far and away the best that I've seen it look in years, not just this year. They haven't approached anything like that. Hats off to Zach Core. This is my big message in the post-game show before Freddie and Mike came down to start with us. Just all the different stuff that they did. Listening to Robert Spillane explain how the Chargers were going up to him after the game saying that we didn't know what you guys...
It's a really good question, whoever asked that.
Oh, good job, Bev. Just the Chargers players telling the Spillane that they didn't know exactly what they were seeing and they didn't know where the pressure was coming from, the coverages, and that's what it looked like. I thought Herbert was awful in the game, but I thought the Patriots made him look awful. It wasn't like he had all these throws that he couldn't make. He just didn't really seem like he knew what he was looking at. Yeah. The pressure obviously was overwhelming in the second half. Great overall performance by the defense. It starts with Zach Core. I think they really had some stuff for this game that we haven't seen a lot of.
Yeah, really
in terms of aggressiveness. Yeah,
coordinated. The rush was making them, the coverage was making them hold it. The rush was getting home when they needed to get there, and those hits at the end. My God, I mean that Anthony Jennings hit. Those a couple sacked at the end there was like, oh boy, this is Herbert's going to be limping out of this one.
He got his ass kicked.
He did.
Herbert did not see the field well, as us ball knowers like to say.
So I mean, I heard some talk that they looked unprepared. Do you think that I mean,
I think there's definitely an element to that. I think
they certainly weren't prepared for what we did. They said it.
I think the bigger thing though was it's so clear that he had adjusted his internal clock for that offensive line, and he was like kind of seeing ghosts. Like there were times where he was starting to move and he was starting to scramble and not really allowing the plays to develop and not giving him that extra beat to, McConkey's going to uncover, but you got to hold the ball here just for an extra second. And he just wasn't willing to do that. So he did miss quite a few throws on the film. It's easy to sit there and say that watching it on your couch at home, but he did miss quite a few throws, but it was because they had him sped up and he was not really willing to sit there in the pocket and wait for it to come open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought they were going to force the Chargers into mistakes because they were scoring points, the Patriots. I didn't think it would be because of their defense. I thought they would just feel, anxious because, we got to keep up with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was great. I mean, the amount of times that they did different things, I thought the coverage was a little bit better. I agree with Ev. I thought there were some plays that Herbert just didn't make, but I think the Patriots forced a lot of that. It's like early in the game, I could hear, and I mentioned this to Mike and Evan in front of us. I heard a couple of people talking. They were like, wow, Herbert's really bailing out of the pocket too quickly. And that was true, but also, in my view, understandable given what he's gone through all year. But at some point, you have to make some plays, and he missed them all. And I was very critical of Harbaugh not just kicking a field goal and taking the lead when they got stopped after that red zone turnover, but that's a throw you got to make. He's got Keenan Allen there. You're not wide open or anything, but he's got a window to throw it to him. It was a little high. I thought it was weird that Allen never put his hands up.
Yeah,
because it looked like
he's
it was
looking
catchable.
back at him.
It looked like it was catchable, but I think he kept his arms down, thinking there might be a guy behind him. And I thought that was sort of emblematic of the entire game offensively for the Chargers. They just didn't look comfortable at any time of the game. Yeah. They looked like they didn't know exactly what they were doing against what the Patriots were doing. And that, again, is a testament to the preparation. We talked to Caleb Von Chason after the game, and he gave Core a lot of credit for making it easy to understand what they wanted to do. Again, just dominant performance by the defense.
It's probably going to lose Greg Roman his job. Like their offensive coordinator, I think, is going to be on any second now. We're probably going to get that notification. It was ugly from Chargers' perspective, but there was just a lot of instances where Herbert's eyes were just down at the rush, and there's guys that maybe were open. I mean, he had Ladd McConkey on a scramble drill that was he was 20 yards behind the defense with nobody on him, and he's scrambling to his right. And his eyes are just down, so he's not looking down the field to be a thrower as he's scrambling. Instances like that I think are good for the Patriots because Vrabel will put those up and say, hey, you guys did great, but there's still 5 or 6 things that we could do even better as they move forward here.
So they'll be playing the Texans. We'll be having our eyes on the injury report to see the status of Gonzo. He's in the protocol right now. We'll see how that changes as this week goes by. Nico Collins
Yep.
for the Texans, ironically,
Yep.
is probably also going to be in the protocol. And boy, the way they took him off the
he's in
field
it.
on a cart with
Yeah.
a towel over his head.
Yeah. They
That
said
was
he needed a minute
Dueling
too.
departures, stumbling down the tunnel or getting a towel on your head and getting
Yeah.
driven off.
Yeah.
Not great for either side. But you never know. With concussions, sometimes they look bad and the guys come back. Sometimes they look harmless and they're out 3 weeks. So
Right.
hopefully both of these guys can play. But we'll see.
Really?
Well, one of them at least.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see good players play.
I like to
That's-
win.
No, I do too. I mean, Nico Collins is an outstanding player, and I mean, you saw Christian Kirk step up a little bit last night and really be his main outlet. But yeah, it's going to be a new challenge. I mean, I don't want to get to the Texans just yet, but I just was really impressed with. I mean, 1 for 10 on defense from third downs for the Patriots. As you guys remember, I watched the third and mediums last week.
The mediums.
But
You wasted your time.
but I
You
mean,
didn't
the
watch any
trend
of the third and longs.
the trend that always stood out to me was a lot of McConkey and Allen just with little sit routes, and I thought the Patriots did such a great job of kind of bracketing those with a safety and a linebacker and really taking those away. There were a couple times where you could tell Herbert wanted to go there, and Spillane's jumping in front of him.
Yeah.
Or Craig Woodson I thought was really active in this game too, and it was just. I think it's fun watching defense when they're clicking like that. It's all working.
We
It's
talk
just
about
fun.
the impact Williams had coming back, but Spillane, it didn't really register on the stat sheet. I think he only had a couple solos, but and no sacks. But like you said, just being there, getting everybody on the same page, you notice that.
Yeah, well,
I
I think that was part of the problem with some of their defensive struggles when he was out. There were just times where they weren't all on the same page, and half the line's doing one thing, the other half's doing another thing. And I mean, the famous play was Josh Allen's last long touchdown that he got, where they broke contain and he was able to squirt out and make the throw. So, I think he's part of that communication. But it was just one of those instances where everybody's kind of clicking, and the Corey Durden's of the world are making an impact, and that's just a great sign when you start to have players like that elevate. It's not something I think we've seen a lot of when the team is struggling. You don't really have gems that develop. I don't know if that's a function of that or just the lack of talent, but a guy like Corey Durden getting opportunities and now starting to deliver and just giving them a really good rotation along the defensive line, which I think they're leaning into, playing a lot of guys.
So those are all the good things.
Really quickly, Robert Spillane, absolutely outstanding in this game.
Didn't look like an ankle injury anymore at all.
Watching him communicate pre-snap with the rest of the defense and be the field general out there and make the checks, and it was just phenomenal.
He leads them. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's not like Drake May had, a perfect night. He was running for his life a little bit too. The left side of the Patriots line, everybody thinks had a lot of issues. Is it worth at least discussing the idea of Ben Brown coming back at left guard, or is that a done deal?
I think it's worth discussing. It was worth discussing last week, and clearly that, Vrabel didn't feel like it was worth discussing. But I think it is worth discussing. But I also think that, the McDaniels deserves a lot of credit for what they did in the second half. And I know it was a defensive game, and the defense won it and all that, but McDaniels versus Jesse Minter was just to me, that is as good as it gets from two elite schemers. And McDaniels got the Chargers into base defense a lot in the second half, and they were able to throw basically all of their big plays in the second half came when the Chargers were in base defense. And they kind of figured it out in the second half, and they were able to make some adjustments and move the ball. I mean, Drake was 11 for 14 for 170 yards in the second half. So he was playing like Drake May for the most part, down the stretch there. So I just think that, when you get into a game like this against a really good defense and a really good coordinator, it's really cool to see the Patriots have an advantage in coaching and them to be able to go out there and have McDaniels say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run 22 personnel and we're going to get them to put base on the field against it. And then we're going to throw out of it, and that's going to be the adjustment that we make. Those are the types of things that when you have a guy like McDaniels that is a great coordinator, that you have the ability to do that. If you don't have a Josh McDaniels on the sideline, I don't know if you score that last touchdown. I think it's a much closer game.
Perfect pass.
Perfect
As Vrabel
pass.
said, elite pass.
Yeah. Perfect pass. And again, that's just, we're going to put big people on the field. They're going to match it with base. They're going to match it with their big people. And we're going to get Hunter Henry, on a safety or a linebacker here. And Drake May is going to hit him for a touchdown. Like that's all the chess match, and the Chargers defense played a really good game. And Minter now is getting all of his head coaching interviews lined up, and he's going to probably be a head coach this cycle or next cycle. That was really cool. Like the defense for the Patriots was great, but seeing how they solved the problem that they were going up against offensively was also really cool.
Your kind of game, Deuce.
I know.
Rock fight.
It's a rock fight.
It's interesting to just watching those kind of games where it felt. I mean, we mentioned Super Bowl 53, where just one play is going to make it here. Is it going to be a mistake? Is it going to be a touchdown from Drake? That's what it was. But
it reminded me.
It's just an elite throw.
I
think the Chargers wouldn't change a thing defensively on that play.
Just Derwin James needs a half an
maybe
inch.
he doesn't make the absolute perfect throw this time. I mean, there was 3 guys around Henry, and it didn't matter. May put it right in his hands. Just
I can't believe Derwin
throw.
even came close to that ball.
Yeah.
Like he comes from the flat and just it sees it at the last second and gets deep, and like the fact that he even came close
Small
to
hands,
it is
Fred.
unbelievable.
That was in the combine.
Carney.
Small hands.
James.
But yeah, it really did play out a lot like Super Bowl 53.
Yeah.
And
Instead of the Gronk seam, it's the Henry touchdown.
The adjustment that they made was exactly the same. Yeah, they were playing, the Rams were playing nickel all game long, and Patriots couldn't do anything. And McDaniels went 22. 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks, 1 wide receiver, put the big people on the field, get an extra linebacker out there, and throw the ball. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah. How about Ramondre too? Like I feel he's been outstanding, continued to be just such an X factor for this playoffs going forward this weekend as well.
Yeah, he was really good
He's
again.
going to be another
Productive.
piece they're going to need to use to exploit mismatches.
The catches have been really
Little
big.
checkdowns were huge.
Really big.
Yeah.
And I thought Vrabel was interesting when we talked to him yesterday, Mike. The pick comes, and you get a deflection at the line. I don't put those on quarterbacks, for the picks, but it is, it's mentally it's on you. Like I just had a little check down that got deflected and picked off and put us in harm's way. They get a stop and they take over the 2-yard line. The first play, he runs a little check down that he's got to throw the same kind of pass that just got tipped and intercepted, and he's able to sort of, and I think Vrabel said, change his arm angle a little bit, get it around the defender, and make a play. And again, the difference in this game was your quarterback, he wasn't great, but he made plays that were able to get some points on the board. Their quarterback didn't make any. And both defenses were really good, but the Patriots was just a little bit better. And that was the difference in the game, is May made a couple of plays here and there, and that's how they scored their points.
I mean, he still had 330 yards of total offense. Drake May did, between the passing and the rushing. So it wasn't like he didn't make any plays. I think there was more like exchanging haymakers in the middle, right, where the Chargers made some plays and he also made some plays.
He put the ball in harm's way too often. I mean, he had
Absolutely.
chance for 3 turnovers. That's,
Absolutely, but
generally that's not.
You also had
formula.
a 42-yard pass, a 37-yard scramble, a 48-yard pass.
That's why I said May made just enough plays to make
Yeah.
just enough points to win the game.
Yeah.
That was the difference. Is Herbert didn't make any.
Yeah.
He had opportunities. Evan just talked about a couple of plays with Ladd McConkey. I thought there was the play down the sideline that Marcus Jones broke up, I think should have been a touchdown. It's a bad throw. Thunder throws him. The play to Quentin Johnston that Gonzo originally got called for pass interference. They picked the flag up. He's behind him. Throw it out in front of him. Now, maybe the wind had something to do with some of the deep balls. I'm not giving everybody a pass, but when May had those opportunities, he connected with Booty. He connected with Henry on the touchdown. And, he was able to make some plays. Herbert didn't make any. That's generally, if your quarterback plays better than the other team's quarterback, you're going to win.
There it is. You mentioned Marcus Jones, too, another guy I just thought was outstanding. 2 third down pass breakups, forced fumble. What a phenomenal year from him. And I just love when you have a great year and then you get into the playoffs and you keep doing it. He does. He does. And just this new level of physicality that I think they brought out of him.
The tackle on the
this
scramble in the red zone was incredible.
I mean, how that's a one-on-one tackle with Justin Herbert, freight rain coming to you.
Yeah.
And you've perfectly executed a tackle to keep him down. I mean, that was remarkable.
Fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless.
It's another example to me, and I made a big deal of that there was 3 plays from Marcus Jones.
Yeah.
Because you guys know I I have a little bit of a
Yeah,
crush on
yeah.
him. So I made a big deal of it. But that's another example of Herbert had an opportunity to make a play. You have to score on that.
Right.
You
5'8"
can't let the
Marcus Jones is going to
cornerback chop you down. At the, you have to go
Yep.
over him. There's no way that Josh Allen doesn't score in that play.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You know, was another one I saw too. Maybe you caught this one. Was they had Vital in pass protection, and Marcus Jones just blew him up. I mean, it's like 5'8" on 5'8", and they're like, oh, this is kind of a funny matchup. And Marcus Jones blasted him. You know, so it's just he's playing outstanding, and I'd love to see him this week. Maybe help in the special teams. I think that's an area maybe you can get some hidden yardage, hidden points.
I thought that was another very underrated thing because you look at his punt returns, he didn't have any yardage. But I thought he was, again, really effective with his decision making. There was one late in the half. It's 3-3. Again, you're in that rock fight, and it's a terrible punt by the Chargers guy. How many times do you see those bounce, and they take a 20-yard bounce? Zoltan Mesko made a career out of it. We used to call it the Romanian roll.
Zoltan. Wow.
So,
Zoltan.
but here comes Marcus Jones flying up. Probably would have liked to have seen him call a fair catch and catch it, but he doesn't. Secures it. Probably saved 20, 25 yards of field position. They end up taking over near midfield. Shortly thereafter, May takes off on like a 35-yard scramble, and you get a cheap 3 points, all because your punt returner makes good decisions. It wasn't like he didn't have a 25-yard return to get them in field, but he saved 25 yards of field position by going up to field back.
And he let another one.
He does that every time.
Instead of fielding one, I think he let one bounce into the end zone.
Yeah, he
good
deked
judgment.
him.
I mean, punt returning in the NFL is one of the skills in professional sports that just absolutely blows my mind because watching
It's a lost art.
how Marcus Jones can catch that ball and then get absolutely hammered by a guy who's running full speed down the field and or make somebody miss. Like that to me is an athletic feat that I am consistently in awe of.
It's a lost art. The guy on the Bears is pretty good, Duvernay.
He's very good.
He's pretty good, but there's not a lot of them. Especially the things we're talking about in terms of like deking on back up on the goal line or fair catching it to save the field position. Like there's guys that can return, obviously, but there's not guys that know the art of it like he does.
That was a 33-yard punt. Do you know how short that is in the NFL? And he was up to make sure it didn't hit the ground. That's a great play right there. It was a 2-yard return. Nothing special about the return, but it allows you to take over at the 46-yard line. That directly leads to 3 points in a game that was 3-3 at the time. That's a big play, and he does that kind of stuff consistently.
All right. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast@patriots.com is the email address. I think it feels like we should just open it up, right?
Yeah.
To the listeners right now.
Sure.
I mean, anything else you need to put on the table here? I mean, we
Not
can talk a little bit about
the goods. I think we
I had a. What do you think the chances are that Tomlin parts ways with the Steelers and Harbaugh and he flip-flop? Harbaugh goes to the Steelers.
I think there's a chance that Tomlin could step away.
Yeah.
I think there's. I don't know, 25%, 30%. I don't see them switching.
I think if they're going to step away from that kind of coach, you're going to try to go into a different direction. You would think in terms of the style of hire that you make. Like at that point, you're like doing the Spider-Man meme.
Right.
Like these people are the same people.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Gonna bring in a tough coach.
I'm gonna need to have that explained to me later.
like
Spider-Man pointing at
Oh,
Spider-Man.
it's the meme where they
You're
point
the
at
same.
each other. The two Spider-Mans. No? You never saw that? Okay.
can I put
That's why I said
one like
later.
little
Oh, just do it.
issue?
No, don't do it,
on-
Evan. They want a playoff game. You can put an
one
issue.
little.
Nits to pick?
It's not a nitpick. It's more of a concern than a nitpick.
Small C?
The
Big C?
Chargers completely took Diggs out of this game, and he got the wide receiver one treatment. He was getting doubled. He was getting bracketed. They were dropping guys off the line of scrimmage into his area of the field. And I thought that early on in this game in the first half, it threw him off. The Patriots, it threw them off because I think he's going to be number one in the progression a lot, and when one isn't there, that often can throw quarterbacks off. And whether it's trying to figure out ways to get Diggs open or understanding, okay, they're going to probably double Diggs on this third down, so I'm going to have to start with my eyes going elsewhere. I haven't seen a Patriot receiver get this much attention in a game in a long time. He was getting bodies at him all the time, and so I'm interested to see how that continues as we move forward. Just watching the Texans a little bit this morning, they did double DK quite a bit. And I would just imagine they're going to just copy paste what they did to DK, and they're going to paste it down on Stephon Diggs this week. So it's
not enough from the other guys to overcome that.
I think Booty did make a couple plays, and a lot of those were, at least one of them, the 42-yarder was on a play that Diggs was doubled on. So they were able to take advantage of it a little bit. But that's, I think, how teams are going to make them, win, is we're going to take 8 out. Diggs is not beating us. Can it be Booty? Can it be Hunter Henry? There's no Mac Hollins right now, so it's got to be one of these other guys.
Yeah, I just love to see, I know you guys make fun of me, but just some real quick slants.
Yeah.
Just to get it out of Drake May's hands really quick. They're almost impossible to cover.
I don't make fun of you for that.
Yeah.
It's usually the guy that you say could catch 10 passes a game that I tend to make fun of.
That's what the Chargers were taking away. Yeah. That's what they were taking away, and all the little options and all the little choice routes that they run with Diggs that are over the middle that are designed to get the ball out of his hands quickly. They had 2 guys on him for most of them. So that was Drake May said after the game that he felt like he held the ball a lot, and I thought he held the ball because of the coverage.
Yeah,
They were taking away 1, and so he had to progress 2, 3. And in this game against Houston,
you don't want to do that.
It's 1, 2, and go.
Right.
Like there's no 3.
No, right. I know, you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
Freddie, were you listening
no
to the broadcast? I know you always have your TV on, but sometimes.
Yeah.
So were they making, from talking to some people, not like football people, like I'm talking about my friends. I don't want to, it's like, yeah. Well, I was talking to Bill Belichick. No, you weren't. You were in a press conference. You listened just like everybody else. But so I don't want to make it sound like this was a football thing. This is just like people making observations, and they said that Collinsworth was making a big deal of both sides. Herbert and May was sort of, you're not going to be able to sit back there for 20 minutes and dissect what's going on. If what you see is not there, then tuck it and run. That seemed to be like the game plan going in, and both guys, were fairly productive running the ball, but I wonder if maybe the coverage was more of an issue in this game than I think we've been giving it credit.
I think a couple times he mentioned the legs of the quarterbacks are going to be the determining factor of the game.
Collinsworth mentioned that. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I think Drake May had more of an opposite problem in this game. I think he was taking too much time in the pocket. I mean, they're getting strip sacked like that.
No, I think he was too casual in the pocket. They were talking more so about the second part for Herbert.
Yeah. See,
I think that was a problem for him because I think that he didn't let things develop, as you were talking about.
100%.
That's early on. I thought the offensive line did a pretty good job protecting. I thought he had time and almost got too comfortable back there.
You talking about Herbert or May?
May.
Oh, I didn't think the protection was very good in this game.
I thought early it was. I thought he had time. He just didn't have anybody open, and then he just didn't do anything with it.
And to me, it's not even that they're coverage sacks as much as once the pressure has established itself. In other words, someone's on his legs or someone's around him, the play's got to end there.
Yep.
Like, you can't have the fumbles when it's like the second guy hitting the quarterback.
It can't happen this week. It cannot happen this week.
That's what they're looking for,
Yep.
Like, Houston's having the same conversation. Houston's offense was actually pretty good last night against Pittsburgh. I mean, I think they would take 400 yards of offense and the amount of drives they had.
Just no
You
turnovers.
can't have your quarterback fumble 5 times because he's playing like a moron. And I'm sorry, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He played a terrible game.
Yep.
And if they do that again, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
You can't win by putting the ball in harm's way 6 times with your quarterback.
Especially the snaps. I mean, the snaps were just
The
like
snaps was, 5 times. There was 2 bad snaps.
Yeah. Five fumbles, but he had
weird
5.
snaps.
He had 5 fumbles and a pick.
Yes.
And
it was bizarre.
And it wasn't
he just kept dropping the ball.
Yes, like they
was bizarre.
They weren't the most perfect snaps every time.
Well, one time
one of
he
them
didn't know
was
it was coming.
one of them was snapped when he wasn't looking.
Yeah.
And I don't think that goes on him as one of the fumbles. But the others were just like right in his hands. It was a shame. You talk about trick plays, like the Patriots had one dialed up and Drake is wide open, touchdown. The Texans had a touchdown on a flea flicker last night. But you know what threw that play off was the flip back to the quarterback was too high.
Yeah.
You see, like he kind of it's like in baseball when the first baseman leads the pitcher.
Yeah.
You don't want to loop it and throw his stride off. he got too much air under it, and that's why he ended up getting strip sacked on that play. If he had just thrown it right to Stroud, I think he would have been able to throw it, and the guy was open. But we'll never know because it was a strip sack.
Did that surprise you guys at all that in a playoff game they let Efton Chisholm throw a pass to Drake May? I was a little bit surprised by that.
Well, that's the point. You want to be surprised.
I knew something was up when he lined up out wide. I was like, why is he?
He wasn't in his blocking
Yeah,
position.
right. He wasn't on the wing or in the slot. And I was like, is that Chisholm out wide? And then, of course, like 2 seconds later, it's a double pass. And I was like, oh, okay, that explains it. It was weird. Like
that was another one that wasn't blocked well enough. Like there was way too much penetration on the left side, which I don't blame Chisholm on. Like I think he did a good job making sure he got the ball away and didn't take a loss.
Those are tough ones because of the illegal man downfield penalties. So like you can't really engage the blocks like right away because of the reverse. Because then if you get down the field, then even if he hits Drake, then it's going to get called a penalty and it's going to get wiped out. But as soon as I saw him out wide, I was like, well, that ain't normal. And then, of course, run a trick play.
All right. Again, 855-PATS-500. Let's open it up. We'll start with Dan in Daytona. What's up, Dan?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing today? I'm going to keep it pretty short today.
Hey, Dan.
I got a couple things I wanted to mention. First, I love the team defense. That was amazing. And I think every sports broadcaster was saying they did not expect that from the Patriots. Second thing, Mark Vrabel was pretty funny at the end with the Milton Williams. The third thing, Drake May with the strip sacks, like you guys I think they should clean that up. And then the last thing I have for you guys is Ben Brown. I think there's no question he has to be in if we're going to win against the Texans. I just watched them last week. Or yesterday, and they made Aaron Rodgers look bad. So what do you guys think about that?
We'll see. I mean, I wonder if the coaching staff feels like Jared Wilson missed a couple weeks and, it wasn't his best effort. But with the playoff game under his belt and knocking the rust off, maybe they believe that he'll be better this week. But I agree that the challenge is only going to get harder for these two guys. And, maybe you got to live with some lumps. We've been saying it all year. I will just say I like the fact that one of the biggest stories coming into the season was the Patriots having to remake the offensive line, and we spent plenty of time debating Will Campbell and would he be the left tackle. And, really now what's standing in front of you to get to the AFC Championship is largely a sound offensive line performance and protection in this game. So I like when those things come full circle. And
yep, it'll be a true test.
Mm-hmm.
True test. Todd's in Gardner. What's up, Todd?
I got 3 quick points. I did say that this was going to be a slobber knocker if our outside receivers didn't get at least 2 touchdowns. So I kind of felt that this game was going to be tough if we couldn't get somebody other than, Diggs and our tight ends going.
Okay.
Yes, I think you'll remember we called it a slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker. That's correct. Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So the next thing is I would like the brawl between Fred and Paul over Chisholm to have a name like the, Thrilla in Manila. I think we need to call it maybe the Chisholm Schism or something, and you guys need to revisit that a few times because
it's the loose change lockup.
I got to be honest. I don't have enough invested in that one to I can argue anything, but I don't care enough about that one.
Yeah, and the third thing is kind of for everybody but Deuce because he's just a D guy.
Thank you.
What just can they do to stop the pressure? What can they do to stop the pressure that the Texans are going to try to bring? Like, are they going to do a lot of chipping? What do you guys think? Like, can they move the pocket? Can they do, like, a combination of things? What do they need to do to keep that keep them out of May's face? And that's it. Great show, guys.
Get receivers open.
Establish the run so that play action has a little bit of a meaning.
I don't like that.
You can't run the ball in this.
You got to stay out of third and long one way or another. Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to stay balanced, and I think that will be important, kind of like they did in this game against the Chargers. It wasn't like a great rushing effort, but at least they were getting like 3 or 4 yards a pop to keep balance.
Stevenson and Henderson averaged about like 4-1.
Yeah,
I think it was 20 for 80. Defense. I think they had. So it was, I think it was 19 for 80 they had.
Stevenson was more effective than Henderson.
Oh, by far.
Oh, yeah. But that is, when you go up against a great run defense like these two defenses, if you're averaging 4 yards a carry, then you're doing your job on the ground, right?
Yeah,
just stay on schedule.
And just plays that he can't get sacked. Yeah. I don't want to abandon the run because I think Evan's right. Yeah, I think you get some value in that. One thing You know, I mean, I know Wednesday's usually when we look ahead to the net, but I mean,
in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the playoffs. It's about the Texans now, right? You move on and it's the next one. I thought watching the game last night, I mean, I was incredibly impressed with Houston's defense like everybody else. So I'm not telling you, but like any defense is beatable if you can execute. And I thought there was a handful of times last night that Aaron Rodgers did a good job either by design. There was one that they rolled him out, and I think he had like a nice little drag route by Metcalf for like 25 yards. And there was other times that he did a good job avoiding that edge pressure that sort of materialized right away, and he broke the pocket. Now, the problem for Rodgers now at whatever, year 20 or whatever it is, he just doesn't have it anymore to be able to operate as well off platform. He was at one time as good as anybody doing that. He can't do that anymore. Drake May can.
Yeah.
So you're asking me, what can they do? Do they move the pocket? Yeah, I think that Josh would probably be wise to move the pocket a couple of times. I also think Drake's going to have some opportunities where Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are going to beat their guys, but he's not going to get sacked. Now what happens? Now you get those opportunities to make some plays, and I do think the one area that the Texans look like a little vulnerable to me is down the field. I think you can beat them over the top. I think the Steelers had a couple of guys open over the top last night, and one, Rodgers got strip sacked. I think it would have been a touchdown to Metcalf.
And one was a drop.
And one with the one that I think he slightly underthrew. Lassiter got his hands on it, and Austin almost caught the deflection.
Yeah, and then he also had Austin. They thought the Steelers wanted DPI, but Austin had to step on him.
He did. And again, I thought
Metcalf
that was slightly
dropped one.
underthrown.
I don't know if this is ready for air yet, Deuce. I don't know if it is.
No, sit on it until tomorrow.
Do you not agree with my assessment?
I think you nailed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think you were spitting facts.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Okay. Evan's got some take development going.
It's funny because I said, Mike and I, we have to tape the Patriots Unfiltered TV show, and we always have the C block, I think, or the B block. I don't know.
I don't.
One of the
produce
blocks.
TVs.
I just talk.
One of the blocks.
Schedules.
We always do on the opponent, and I always like sort of thoroughly read Don's script, and I look at his stats on Well, I didn't have to do any of that last night because I just watched 60 minutes of the Texans play, and I felt like I'm going to guess that that's pretty typical of the way the Texans have played defense based on their numbers. Like it wasn't like this out of the ordinary, performance.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that was what they've been doing for the most part this year. I watched a little of them, here and there highlights. I think you can get over the top of them. I think their two corners are outstanding, but they're really aggressive and they want to come up and hit you. They want to tackle. And I think you can get behind them if you can get a little bit of time to do it. And I think May can buy that time.
Yeah.
With his athleticism.
I don't know if I want to empty the clip just yet because it's all
I'm
good
just
stuff.
so proud of myself that Evan said I was spitting facts.
You just did it just by watching, which is impressive.
That's kind of what football is.
So there's a handful of things about this Texans defense that is phenomenal. It's a really good defense. I'm not trying to come here and say
I'm not either. I'm not telling you they're overrated because I didn't see anything that was overrated last night.
There's a couple of things though, just underneath the hood about their defense that I think Drake May can exploit. They're 14th in the league in explosive pass plays allowed, which is middle of the pack. So for a number one defense in the league, you don't expect to see them in the middle of the pack. So they do give up some big plays over the top in the passing game. They are number 31st. Let's go that way. They're 31st in the league against scrambles. Does anybody have any guess who's 32?
Chargers?
No.
Oh, I just thought because they just
the Broncos,
the San Francisco 49ers, who run the same system.
Oh,
that the Texans do.
In-depth ball knowing.
Okay,
right?
We're connecting dots.
So
in-depth ball knowing.
This seems to me because they only rush 4 guys. They don't blitz. They only bring 4.
Nickel rush 4.
Yeah, and when there's only 4 guys in the rush and you play a lot of zone, especially soft zone, there's going to be space underneath for the quarterback to run. So they give up a lot of scramble yards. They give up a lot of, decent amount of big plays in terms of.
What about when you said the 31st against the scramble? I thought you meant scramble and then big play, but you're talking about
actual rushing
yard. Okay,
yep.
Not design
plays
quarterback
off
run.
of scrambles.
Yeah. No, not like scramble drills or extended plays.
Right.
I'm talking about actual rushing yards by the quarterback. So scrambled, not good. Deep passes, middle of the pack. But for a defense that good, not particularly great. The other thing that I look at with them too is, can the Patriots get them to play some more base by going 6-0 line? And that, of course, would then give you an extra guy on the line of scrimmage to help you pass protect as well.
Right.
And
which they did a little bit in the second half.
Yeah,
where you said
yeah.
that they sort of got going. There was more Munford in the second half, certainly than the first. I don't even remember him
Yeah,
being out there in
I
the
hate
first.
when you have to do that, but I know you have to sometimes.
yeah, and that some teams have found some success doing that against them, going big, getting them to go big against it, and then passing out of the jumbo set.
So yeah, it's not. And then I think you're talking about, like, you hate when you have to do that, like you're max protecting. It's not necessarily because you're worried as much about the rush. You're trying to get the defense to be in the personnel groups that you
Right.
want them to be in.
Right.
You're trying to adjust their personnel groups.
No, I know.
And I think that worked, because I think Evan's right. I think a couple of the big, again, I'm just trying to remember. I think the 42-yarder to Booty down the sideline was one of those plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I
so
think
was
the
Henry
touchdown
Yep, both of them
was
were
one of those plays.
Yeah. So
Tackle eligible.
So it's not just like we're
yeah.
going to power up and run the
Yeah,
ball
right.
3 yards
No,
in
I
a
know.
cloud of dust because we're trying to keep them at bay. No, they're trying to throw some haymakers.
One of the more underrated players in their defense is Jalen Petrie, who
He's
is
really good.
really, really good, and he plays the nickel. So when you get them into base, he plays more of like a traditional safety, and so then they can get linebackers and safeties that aren't exactly the better cover guys into coverage situations. So just some of the things that you look at with this Texans defense, just last one, they are a very stagnant defense. They just do what they do.
Yep.
They line up and play. They don't disguise. They don't disguise pressure. They don't disguise in the back end. This is one of the simplest defenses that they'll face all year. They're just really, really good at it.
Yeah,
And
fast.
they have great players. But when you go up against a great play caller like Josh McDaniels, if you're just going to sit in the same coverages all game long, I like your chances.
Yeah.
Like, I like your chances of him finding ways to scheme guys open. So I do think there are some things that are a little bit weaknesses for the Texans that the Patriots can exploit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, watching some of the Seattle game, I mean, they don't have JSN, but JSN had success downfield against them. I mean, I know he's the best receiver in the league, so not apples to apples, but that was something I noticed too, that if you can get it up there, that they can be had a little
that
bit.
was also very early in the year when
Yeah.
they weren't the Texans yet.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 1-5. I think they were 0-3, 1-5.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they were.
you know,
it was a good game.
You know,
yeah.
around here, we throw away the Raiders and Steelers games.
Right.
Right. So I'm sure that Matt Burke and the Texans defense throws away, a lot of September too. They didn't get off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a team though that's played in a lot of tough environments. I mean, they played a number of playoff teams this year. They played in Seattle. They obviously played in
I have
Kansas
numbers
City.
on that later.
Oh, please.
Yeah. No, you're right. Everything you just said. I think they've played 8 games against teams with more than 10 wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Buffalo, Chargers twice, Denver twice.
I have it here somewhere.
Seattle.
Max in Santa
Rams.
Barbara writes in, first off, unlike Paul, I too, like Fred, root for the other team's injuries.
I don't root for any injuries.
I love when Mahomes' leg got twisted. Remember the Chiefs purposely took out Brady in September 2007, plus they lied that Super Bowl when they claimed Mahomes had a high ankle sprain, yet he ran around no problem. What PED did they allow him to be shot up with? Gronk had that, played very few snaps in Super Bowl 46. Anyway, I don't know why, but this win for me was as sweet as 36 or 51. Paul, drink real sugar Pepsi. The artificial sweetener is way worse for you.
That's a myth. Much like the rest of your email.
Nice.
2008.
Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, let's go to Alex in San Diego. What's up, Alex?
Hey, guys. What a game. I'm 28 years old, and I grew up with a team that was just always good. And, just being bad these last couple of years has made me really thankful for moments like Sunday. But, anyway, I don't know if anything else came out from this, whether it was reports or interviews. But your thoughts on why Vrabel went for the extra point after the lone touchdown the other day? Because the lead was 12, and I just see way more of a benefit making the lead 14 than 13. But either way, the game was probably over when they scored that touchdown anyway. But still, anyway.
Yeah, he was asked the question, and he kind of didn't answer it.
So,
yeah, go ahead, Paulie.
I think the translation was, I messed that one up. I think the way he started to talk about it sort of was an indication to me that, yeah, I know what you're talking about, and maybe we should have done it. Fred was talking about this in the post-game show, and he eventually got to try to do some of the stuff that you're talking about. He's counting possessions, and he's sort of going, well, if it's 12, he was talking about the possibility of 3 possessions. So if you make it 12, if you don't get the 2, and then they score a touchdown, they make it 5. Now, if we kick a field goal, we're only up 8, and it's still 1 score and not 9, which is kind of, I think, what you were getting at. I just didn't think there was enough possessions left in the game to realistically, with 9 minutes left, the Chargers are going to go down the field and score a touchdown. You're going to now go down the field and kick a field goal, and there's going to be enough time. I didn't know. I think they would have gone for 2. If they had to do that over again. I don't think it was an enormous problem because of the way the defense was playing at the time, but yeah, I think the way he answered it told me that, yeah, I think we might have messed that one up.
My tinfoil hat theory, they have a really good 2-point play, and they didn't want to burn it. Because...
Well, they don't have to burn it.
Use another one.
They only have so many. I don't think that they were scoring 14 points I
would completely agree with that. And
so
the point that I made was like, we know the game is over.
Yeah.
You know, because we're media nerds sitting around watching the game. You know, we've watched 50 minutes of play and they have 3 points. They're not scoring 14 in the last 10.
Right.
But the coach can't do that. The coach can't just say, well, you know, and he was talking about sudden change. You know, like that was the only way that they could lose, which is why I was as annoyed with the strip sack that May took with a 16-3 lead. Like, that's basically the only way you can lose. And that ball bounced up. Not only he got strip sacked, that was on a platter for someone, and Jared Wilson, fortunately, was the one who caught the bounce.
Yep.
If that's a Charger who catches that bounce, that might be a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they dropped the end out to Diggs' side. He wasn't expecting the end to drop out, and he wanted to throw the slant to Diggs, and the end just dropped right underneath the slant, and so he just pulled it down. And you know, to Paul's point, like, just turtle, like, just go down. You know, like, especially with that lead and that
Brady
situation,
just throw it in the ground.
Yeah, it was.
Intentional grounding would have been better. Yeah.
He got fooled by it.
I thought it was funny when some of those guys were dropping out that they were like doing this. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just never noticed it before, but I was like, are you trying to tell him you're there, or you wanted to throw it to you? Like, you know, like, I'm open, I'm open.
I mean, they were dropping Tard out. He's 340 pounds, and they're dropping him out over the middle of the field to take away the inside. I mean, they had some good stuff, the Chargers.
Joseph's in North Carolina. Hey, Joseph.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Hey.
21, I'm very glad to be back in this position. The Pats are back. I just have a couple things. I think we actually really match up well against the Texans. The Texans kind of remind me, the Patriots remind me of the Texans from like 2 years ago. The Texans always have had a good defense. It's really just been C.J. Stroud, how he's going to do. He's younger. But I think we line up good, and you guys mentioned it. The X factor, I really think, will be Josh McDaniels, what plays he calls. I think that Steelers game, it was just very bland. If the Steelers were going to run, they were going to run. They were going to pass, they were going to pass. I feel like everyone could predict what they were going to do. So my question is it going to be Mike McDaniel or Josh McDaniels, or I think Hunter Henry has a real big play in this game. Very underrated, pass block, get away from it, and I think Drake May's athleticism is going to help us win this game.
Yeah. Doesn't it every week?
I mean, everything Paul and Evan were saying, just to me, is if it's not there, go. You know, this is one game where you don't dick around trying to get to the third and fourth reads. Like, they might be susceptible to the scrambles, and don't be a hero and, you know, go down. Don't try to point.
He's going to need to play really well.
It's not going to, 100%. But it's not going to be, one of these games where it's, you're going to have a chance to make some points up. I think points are going to be at a premium. Live to fight another day. But I felt great last week coming in with Josh McDaniels. I feel great again. He's seen it all. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I kind of made the comparison to the old Indy defense, which, not different schemes, but it was still really fast, do what we're going to do, but they're going to do it, what they're going to do. So I love Josh's experience and ability to look at that defense and say, "This is
other
what we
than
have to
Drake
do."
May, is there anywhere on the Patriots offense where they have the matchup advantage over the Texans defense?
A little Ramondre, I would say, in the passing game. I don't know. That's been something I've heard a couple times in the analysis of, especially with Toho in coverage.
They were all over Gainwell last night.
Well, he's one of the Steelers' best players.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what going into the game. Some of the previews are saying they should try to get him
on that 1 3rd down, but
he fell.
Yeah, but I would agree. Especially they play all that quarters coverage with the 2 high safeties, so the matchup is, they're usually a linebacker on a running back or the slot receiver right over the middle of the field, and that is one area, and that's why I was talking about trying to get them into base, because if you can get Petrie out of the slot and you can get them with linebackers on the field, I think that's how you can throw on them a little bit. So I would expect the Patriots to try to, whether it's 12 or it's 6-0 line or whatever the case may be, just try to get them to blink and put the big guys out on the field. But I like their chances as much as you possibly could against maybe the best defense in the league, because I think that they really are kind of stagnant, do what you do defense. And I just really like Josh McDaniels in that kind of matchup. I think he's going to.
So the advantage is McDaniels then.
Yeah.
That's the answer to the question.
Well, because I think McDaniel's just going to call a lot of beaters for the types of coverages that the Texans really like to run. And I like their odds of getting some guys open, especially if Texans play zone. If they come in and play man, I'm a little bit more concerned.
I think
go ahead.
I was just going to say last point. The bigger thing, and we've all been touching on, is the secondary guys got to step up after Diggs. And you're going to need more production, especially in the middle of the field. To your point, Fred, Demario Douglas, can we get him involved a little bit more?
Yeah.
I think it was obvious they missed Matt Collins in this game. I think he was
I agree.
one of the underrated kind of guys that Drake likes to throw to.
Especially against zone, and you kind of just sit in those soft spots and big target in the middle of the field.
Cassie in Georgia, everyone likes to talk about the Patriots' strength of schedule, so let's talk about the Texans, but specifically the offenses they have faced. The losses they have were against good offenses, but the second half of their schedule, when they made their run, have been against some teams with subpar offenses.
Okay, so just wondering, who do you think is the good offenses?
I don't know.
You think the Rams are any good? Think the Rams have a good offense?
Pretty good.
Rams.
Yeah.
Seahawks.
They lost. He's right. 14 points.
Yeah. You don't get the 20 on this team. Are they giving up over 20 points twice?
Jacksonville, pretty good offense this year, right? 17. They lost. He's right. They lost to the good offenses. But that's the kind of game that I think the Patriots are going to win. And I just, I know Fred's already declared this game's over. We're on to the AFC Championship. I'm with him. I think the Patriots are going to win this game. But I don't think it's going to be like the last time I did this, I was very wrong when I said I don't see a 6-3 game at the half. And here we were in a 6-3 game at the half. I don't see the Patriots putting 48 on the board. I think this defense is good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that
but
all
if you can
defenses are beatable.
Yeah,
all defenses are beatable, and you should be able to get into the 20s.
Yeah.
I know they're really good, but you got to get to the 20s.
Yeah.
If you can get to 20, Stroud has not played well, and so the one thing with Stroud too. I know we have a lot more time to talk about this, but I expect the Patriots to blitz the crap out of him. Because that seems to be
making great decisions.
Yeah, it seems to be his kryptonite right now is pressure, and the Chargers got him the entire second half of that game with a lot of pressure. So just like they did against Justin Herbert, on Sunday night, I expect this very similar game plan.
All right, well, the Pats are on a roll, and you can prep for the next playoff game in style with Bob's Discount Furniture. Set yourself up for an epic watch party with championship pieces like the Play Day Sectional, a space-saving yet feature-packed sofa with built-in charging ports and Bluetooth audio so you can recreate the stadium experience at home. Plus, it has a pop-up sleeper for any teammates that need to crash after the game. So stop in or shop online to style your home team headquarters with Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. Lots of calls, lots of emails when we come back. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com, physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
How you doing? How are you? Good. Great. How are you, Kara?
When it comes to your next opponent, will you start work on both teams tonight or wait till you see?
No, I mean, we have to, again, there's two things here that we're working on today. We have to be able to, identify some things that we can, reasonably try to correct and enhance. And then the other one's looking, trying to prepare for an opponent that we won't know who it is until tonight. So we'll have to do work on both teams and we'll have to be ready to go. And that's just how it is.
Mike, I think Williams was one of the few players you guys signed this offseason where you guys didn't really have a history of coaching him on the staff. Have you engaged with his leadership, toughness, things that you've seen from him behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of work on Milt coming out, and like a lot of teams, but, I would say that everything that we thought of him coming out is exactly what we saw in Philadelphia and then saw here. And so, I think his consistency has been really good, his leadership, and, certainly has come up in big moments.
Mike, how much did you know about Caleb on Jason before this year? How impressed have you been with his contributions?
Again, probably did some work on him coming out. Went through a process there in the off season, and, KC's, one of those players that have been a couple different places and, was trying to make the best decision for him and his family and his career, which I can appreciate. So, went back and forth, and there was talks and conversations, and I was glad that he was, willing to join us, and glad he's had success, and he has done a great job. And, we'll need all those efforts moving forward, but, he's into it. He's here a lot and fought through the bumps and the bruises of an NFL season. And, so again, all the credit goes to him, but, I think that wasn't something that was just cemented on one day. I mean, there was some conversations, as we worked through free agency and what his plans were and what the vision that we had for him.
A lot of talk this season about strength of schedule. What does a win last night just mean for the team and mean for the season?
It means we get to keep playing, so if that's what that means, it means we're not on vacation.
Mike, how important is timing? And maybe even just getting reps together for those guys up front for you defensively when you're running those 3 main games. I'm thinking of the strip sack yesterday. Do those guys need a lot of reps together for those things to work?
Well, I just think that there's a lot of, the more that you can work with the guy next to you, I think the better. Sometimes it's, you're getting a different look based on their protection, or do they jump you? Do they soft set? Are they sliding? Whatever it may be. So the more that, you can get a look at those things and be able to work with the guy next to you, how the guy's setting it up, how your guy is blocking you, and your ability to get where you need to get to. So the more reps that we can get at any type of, combination with more than one player is important, whether that's a route concept with two guys, or pass rush games, or offensive line or blocking. I think anytime that you're dealing with two players that have a responsibility, or more players, the more reps, the better.
You had a few guys last night came back after kind of an extended period of less Roberts. How do you look in particular? He held up?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he held up okay. I think that they, there's going to be some plays that he's going to want to improve on, and game conditioning and all those things, and the motion. And but we got great efforts from everybody, and Robert and Harold, who hadn't been out there, helped us win. They're all part of this victory.
A lot of your downfield success in the passing game came from some heavier groupings. What were the Chargers doing that maybe made it tougher to get downfield from their lighter personnel, and what were the advantages that you saw in some of those base packages?
Well, they rush, and they've got a good front, and further you want to throw the ball downfield, the longer that you have to protect. And I think they play certainly a very good pass defense in different shells, and whether they're man or post safety, and they're pushing somebody back out there. And again, I think that being able to mix up the personnel groups is something that, we've tried to do, that other teams try to do. No different than the Chargers, and early on going in 22 personnel and trying to get a play action pass out of there, and trying to get, some route to Gatson or something. And so, being able to mix personnel and staying balanced out of each personnel, I think, is critical.
Mike, talk about the growth of Andy Borregales from what he dealt with in training camp and adversity a little bit during the year, and what sort of automatic a lot of times, when you're not talking about a kicker, a lot of times he's doing his job. Can you just talk about him?
Yeah, I think that, first of all, his demeanor, I think, has been great. It's been consistent. Just keep kicking and keep learning and practicing, and, kicking in the elements and kicking on, different side. It doesn't really seem the things affect him. So again, all the credit to Andy for remaining consistent mentally, and has made some big kicks for us. So, I'm sure that that's helped his confidence.
Coach, any thoughts on 2-point conversion after?
Yeah, obviously, some thoughts there, and then, just thinking that maybe we'd get a couple more possessions where, the field goal could probably get us to 8, but, could easily have done that. And proud of the guys, really, the sudden change all night and situational football was really good.
Coach, you were here for a lot of big games in the past. Just first playoff game in 6 years here last night. What did you think of the atmosphere?
I thought it was amazing. I think it starts with our willingness to play to a style that our fans appreciate. We've talked about that since as long as I can remember, that if we play to a certain style, and they'll embrace that, and they'll cheer for us. I think that what we do here from the stadium perspective, and the introductions and the fireworks, and that's all part of it. And we're the entertainment business, and we have to provide things for people to get excited about. So I appreciate the way that our fans have been here, and I appreciate the way that they've traveled, and I can't say enough about them.
It's really good doing.
And now, great moments in history.
It is funny. Like, those are the types
Make
of
a play, Terry Glenn. What are we doing? Make a play on the ball.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Drew just threw a pin.
They're showing Aaron Glenn highlights on NFL Network.
Did you know Aaron Glenn was the coach of the Jets?
I heard that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know if that was true or not, but it is.
You ever notice Evan hates everybody and everything in the league?
Especially the 70s Steelers.
Oh, no. Everybody and everything around the league.
Don't even get me started on the 70s Steelers. I heard the ball boy got into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the 70s Steelers.
That's true. Well, that's on the NFL nutrition program.
Us, we're trying to, the Patriots dynasty, it's like trying to pull teeth. But, I heard the third string long snapper in the 70s Steelers is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the water boy on the Steelers had like a 6-gallon jug. He was just walking around with like one arm holding it
he's
out,
got a bust and can't.
You're right. There was too much... too many Steelers got in at that time. I don't know why, but
Hey, you care to elaborate?
No, I just think there was
Which one?
a lot of them.
All of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I knew he was going to all of them.
Well,
None of them belong.
Stallworth.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered, 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. Clayton
I like
wants
the
to know.
Evan hate.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good hate.
Oh, I
Ev.
still hate the Steelers.
But that was good, solid hate. I liked that.
If they don't let Vinatieri in the Hall of Fame this year, I'm like,
Roy Jarella's in, though.
Who that?
With Steelers kicker.
With the Texans playing on Monday.
Ball nowhere.
And I would assume traveling Friday. Well, that's a bad assumption.
Yes.
To New England, what sort of impact does that have on the team preparing for a playoff game? Patriots seem to have 6 days to prepare. To the Texans 3.5 or 4. No, I think the Texans will come on Saturday. Why would you come on Friday?
Yeah, they have one less day to prepare because they played Monday night.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think it should happen. The NFL and the playoffs should
they also
not have Monday night games.
I'm assuming that their coaching staff might have already been peaking yesterday before the game.
Just like we were probably
I know I
preparing
was.
for both.
Yeah, but in even to Evan's point, like the Texans staff didn't have an either-or scenario. It was
Right.
like, we win, we're preparing for this team. If we lose, we're not preparing for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. If they win, they play the Patriots. So the preparation, was underway. I'm sure the Patriots probably spent a little more time going over Houston, A, because they thought they would win, B, because they've already seen Pittsburgh this year and probably didn't have as much extensively to do. But they did have the either or. The Texans didn't. It was all Patriots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Sure.
What else are you doing?
Mhm.
We're either going to be on Cancun or
Right.
we're going to be playing the Patriots.
Right.
Better get
And
to
you
work.
have until 8 o'clock at Monday night, and you're just sitting around.
Yeah.
But it is unfair to have a team play on Monday night in the playoffs. It's
just never going back, though, is it? Like, they're never
No,
going to
it's-
start making
there's
things
too many
where we're
games.
like,
It's
yeah,
dumb
right.
too. Like just go back to the triple header on Saturday, triple header on Sunday, and then try your best for the winners to play in the same day the following week.
Yeah.
So it's even for everybody.
Agreed.
This teams that played Sunday that are playing Saturday. Teams played Monday,
Yeah.
playing Sunday.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be like that in the playoffs. Everybody should have the same amount of rest, except for the teams that get the bye. Obviously, can't.
Tim in Pensacola. What's up, Tim?
Hey, everybody. I know you got a lot of callers, so I just have 2 quick points. One is a off-season idea because I don't get to call a lot because of work. And then the second is a serious question about Drake May. So first, I've been listening to this show since I was in high school, all the way up to my last job in the previous administration working in the White House to my current job. PFW, Patriots Unfiltered, has always been a constant. So, Fred,
The White
in
House?
the offseason, yeah, I was an associate director under President Biden. But during the offseason, I encourage you all for one episode, just one episode, to bring back PFW in Progress. The old music, Fred Kirsch, Andy Hart, Paul Perillo, Eric Scalavino, Kevin Behind the Glass. He doesn't have Marine Corps efficiency, which just made it funnier, and just have one episode of PFW in Progress.
So like a reunion show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the music.
I think-
wonder if we can find that.
Yeah. Mr. Liff.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I might have some old podcasts somewhere. I can see if I have them. I'll send them your way. I'm serious. Okay. My question about Drake May. One thing, Paul, that I appreciate about you is, like, you said stuff even when it was unpopular, so you will probably roll your eyes at me, and that's okay. But I want to get everybody's take on this. I think Drake May is an elite quarterback right now. I think his ball placement, his accuracy, his speed, his ability to break tackles and make plays, I think he's just going to get better. But I say he is already an elite quarterback. I can take it off there, but I'd like your thoughts on it.
I think he's got elite skills. There's no doubt about it. But in order to be an elite quarterback in the NFL, it takes time. You have to prove it over time.
Well, I think in
He might win the
2025,
MVP of the league.
Yeah, in 25, he's been an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really think there's an
Yeah.
argument against that.
He's an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, like, how does he regress?
But you're not ready to put him up with the elites of the game, in history.
I would put him in
Well,
history.
no. But
Yeah.
this year, he's
Yeah,
in my top 5 now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it.
I think he's squarely at the top of tier 2, at least. Like, I still think that, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Lamar Jackson are probably in that, like,
and I put him with them.
S tier club.
I know, but you got to be fair. It's one season.
Yeah.
So,
but that's all I'm judging it on.
Right.
But
right now, he's elite in this league with elite skills. But in terms of,
but I think he showed it all his rookie year. I think his rookie year, there were a lot of the same throws are on film that he's making now. He just was in a crappy situation and he was young.
Sure.
So I don't think that this like truly came out of nowhere. I think this was all over his rookie tape too. He just has better coaching and better pieces around him and has a little bit more experience in the league. I just have a tough time
thanks, Tim,
trying to figure out where he goes backwards.
Right.
That he would not stay at this level, for the next 10 years.
And I just put it on the coaching staff this year and the personnel department to continue to build around him and to give him things that fit his game. Or as you get out of this season, we really would have liked this piece, XYZ. I mean, I look at the second tight end spot as maybe a spot where you say, let's try to find a young athletic guy who can, maybe be TE2 next year, but maybe push Hunter Henry a little bit, start to add another dynamic element to the offense for Drake to play with.
They don't even really have a dominant outside receiver yet.
Yeah. The only way he could go backwards is if he starts making mental mistakes, but I don't see that happen.
So, and that would be the very slight pushback to what Ev said. Like, we saw a lot of this stuff last year,
right?
And it hasn't been that. So, yeah, I agree. The highs we saw, but we haven't seen anywhere near the lows that we saw last year. That's, to me, what is put him in an elite level. We knew that the skills were there, but last year we saw all the mistakes. A lot of the summer, we saw a lot of these mistakes. They've almost completely disappeared. That's why I'm as critical as I am when he gets strip sacked in the middle of the fourth quarter, up 13 points. Because we haven't seen that all year. I know you can do this because you haven't done it all year. Don't do it now. Don't, like the May sprays that Mike talks about, the pocket presence that I kind of harp on. I don't want to see the playoffs end because of that. If they're going to end, let the other team shut you down.
He has irrational confidence.
Irrational is a great way to put it.
And that, like, you don't want to take that completely away.
Nope.
But he has irrational confidence that he can make a play in any situation, and sometimes the right play is just to protect the ball and go down. Right. And for him, it's like, nope, I'm going to hang on to the last possible second because I'm Drake May and I'm going to make a play
He's
here.
the best kid in the schoolyard, and he feels he can do anything.
And I don't want to take that away. And I would just say, just to put a bow on it, with those two fumbles on Sunday night. The first one, I think both of them he was guilty of exactly what Evan's talking about, the irrational confidence, I can make a play here. The first one I can live with, even though it was in scoring position and they were only up 6-3 at the time. And that was a big play. I'm not dismissing it, but he's trying to make a play to put points on the board. The second one, the game is kind of over. 16-3 with less than 5 minutes left in the game. There's only one way I can lose. So that's not a spot I want irrational confidence. That's the spot I want, let's play this safe. Let's just take the loss. We'll punt. Live to fight another day.
I think it's experience too. I think that's such a big part of it. I know Brady talking about the course of his career of knowing, just take the sack. I think I've heard clips of Josh saying to him, like, we've never lost a game because we took a sack. Those are the kind of things.
This is one of those games against the Texans where a punt is much better than another possible outcome. Because if you put this Texans offense on long fields, I feel pretty good about your chances. They get points by being on short fields or the defense scoring or whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, he's got it's a hard line to walk. Like, Josh Allen has the same problem. Like, they think they're Superman. And sometimes he makes throws and he makes plays that you just go crazy about. But then sometimes he gets caught trying to make plays like that and he fumbles, and if you want the good ones, then
you got to live with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Bradley in Kansas City. Zach Core was commented on by Peter Schrager as part of the Monday Night Countdown, and Peter acted like he was a fill-in for only this game as the play caller. Can someone tell him he's been our defensive coordinator all season? Dude needs to do some research before talking on national TV.
I kind of thought it was Orlovsky too. I heard that clip and Schrager brought him up, and then have you guys
Schrager's
heard
the
of
one
him?
who said it.
Yeah, and then Orlovsky, no, who?
Yeah, Schrager.
You haven't heard of the de facto defensive coordinator of the number 2 seed in the AFC.
Filling in for the defensive coordinator.
Like I'm sure they can name all the other defensive coordinators
right
in the playoffs. I mean, I probably could, so I'm sure they could.
I couldn't. I know I couldn't.
Halfley. He's out. Doug writes in.
Why is he out?
He's a Green Bay
yes.
Defensive coordinator.
That's
true.
You
mean out of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was just one he was naming.
Right. Doug, Mike Vrabel is definitely a hard-out. For some reason, this doesn't bother me. In fact, I kind of like it. Do you agree? Maybe it's because he's our hardo, or maybe there is more to it. One, his playing resume supports it. He has always been this way. It's not a recent coach's affection. He uses it to improve the team. In other words, not to look at me. It's not an obvious ploy to cover up other coaching deficiencies. It's great to have the team finally more fun to watch than Patriots Unfiltered.
I just like him.
Can I get a definition of hardo? Is that like an act?
Yeah, it's
Trying
an
to
act. It's
like
an
a
act.
tough guy?
Yeah.
Because I don't get a lot of Mike Vrabel's trying really hard to act.
Well, that's his
to
point.
Be something.
This is
like,
who he is.
Just
He's
kind
not
of
doing it.
I think he's the epitome of that. But I love him. I
Yeah.
think he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying that he's like willing to bleed, like, let's calm down. But I do think that his playing, the fact that he's not just a former player, but is a former really good player, I do think that helps. Like,
Just watch him come into the press conference with that strut of his. Like,
But that's who he, like, he's always had it.
and that's why I've always liked Mike from his
Yeah.
playing days.
He's
really,
genuine. He's not artificial.
but he's definitely a hardo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Like,
he's
that's
genuine.
part of the
but a
package.
Natural hardo.
But
That's
some
what
of
he's
the
saying.
guys that are
He's saying
hardos,
he's a hardo, but he's our hardo.
but
but
some
I
of the
don't
guys that are hardos, like Jim Harbaugh, is like, dude, you were a nice backup quarterback. Like, no one's impressed, or
Jim Harbaugh's kind of a nerd.
or Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell's
It's
a
like
hardo.
you were a
And
blocking
a lot of
tight
people
end,
thought
bro.
that
But
the
he's
hardo
definitely a
was-
hardo.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
A lot of people think the hardo thing is to cover up for other coaching deficiencies.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't either.
I think that's just a guy's
That's who
personality.
he is.
I
What
think
about
that
Mike
he is-
Singletary back in the day.
he was kind of quiet, wasn't he?
Until that
Yeah.
explosion.
Right. Yeah.
Until he wasn't.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's a good example.
That's
I
a
think
hardo. to
That's a
me.
hardo.
Yeah.
I think Mike Vrabel has a lot of
those
Dan
two-
Campbell in him.
You think
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's a little bit of a hardo?
Yes, and I think that
I think he's kind of a nerd.
now it's coming
Yeah.
across well right now because they're winning.
Right.
But I think that if it didn't, like you didn't play, like you didn't, like you are supposed to be the nerd, right? So like you can say what you want about Mike McDaniel, but at least Mike McDaniel knows who he is,
He's no hardo.
right? He's a
Robert Saleh, hardo.
Hardo trying to fight Liam Cohen after playing the Jaguars earlier this year. Like,
Pretty hardo. Maybe I just
What are
have
we
a blind
doing?
spot for Vrabel. I know what you guys are saying, but I look at hardo as such a like
See, I don't-
derogatory.
Yeah, I'm not saying it as a derogatory
Yeah.
thing. I just think that's a personality trait.
I just think that it's different
He's
when
got
it's
some
coming
swag.
from a guy that like truly was great as a player.
Yeah.
Like is in the team Hall of Fame. Like that's a different level of like of being like he can back it up. Like he was a great player, and I think he still has that
He had the
confidence.
same
about
swag
him.
when he played. It's like he's
Right.
walking the same way across the field as he does when he walks into the press
I think Mike
conferences.
Tomlin's a bit of a hardo. I think the way he kept, the whole, all the buzzwords, we want volunteers, not hostages. He's got like a quip for every occasion. I think he's.
When he after they beat the Ravens and he was doing the chest pounds into the camera.
Don't you?
Like, dude, you won on a field goal.
Guy
that
missed a kick.
Yeah, like what are we talking about?
Is it wrong to say that football is loaded with hardos?
Of course it is.
Specifically
It's
football.
the
though? 'Cause,
ultimate
like,
macho sport.
I think of hockey, and I'm like, that's almost like the opposite. Like they're like hockey players are known as not being hardo. Like
Modern
they're
day
just being
Spartans.
like, I was a farm boy, that kind of thing.
Where else other than football can you have a hardo punter who is now a celebrity? That was watching ESPN and Pat McAfee.
That hardo. Patrick Matt in the dictionary when you look it up.
Mark's in New York. Hey, Mark.
Oh, hi,
Hey,
Mark.
fellas. Quick question about the Texans and officiating. Last night I saw a lot of gun mimicking celebrations from the Texans, particularly from the receivers after first downs. I know it's not the most, the foremost issue on anyone's mind, but the NFL says it's a violent gesture. So why doesn't it consistently get called? And maybe more importantly, is there any mechanism for the pass or the media to flag it with officials before the game, so it actually gets called and potentially turns into a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct.
Can I ask this question as honestly as I can, Mark? Do you want a guy who points for a first down to get flagged for making a gun gesture? Do you want that? Does that help? No, I'm not talking about the team. You were talking about the game last night. Is that when you watch a game? Do you say to yourself, you know what I think we need more of? 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. That's something that is, as a fan, as a viewer of the NFL, you think there should be more of?
I mean, as a person with a public platform, are you a person who thinks that guns are something that should be,
No, they're pointing for first downs, first of all. But no, I don't. I'm not offended by any of that. No.
They're pumping the shotgun and putting their finger on the trigger, and they're doing bop, 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 bop with both their hands.
Yeah, I'm not offended by that.
I mean, the Patriots have musket men, for crying out loud.
I'm offended when random people go up to people in cop cars and just blow them away. That offends me. But someone on a football field doing that doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, I don't know. If you violate the rules, should you be flagged? But I don't know. I didn't
Pointing
see
for
any
first
of that.
downs isn't violating the rule, but I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's a dumb rule. I don't want to see games impacted by moronic.
Listen, I thought that Randy Moss wiping his bum on the goalpost was funny.
Absolutely.
I
don't want to see that called either.
Mark, thanks for the call.
I think he was kidding, right?
I don't. That's why I asked him. Can I honestly ask you a question?
Was that a work? That was a bit.
Maybe he knew that. Maybe he knew I would be triggered by it.
Hardo is right.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, maybe he knew that that would be something that I would respond to, and maybe you're right. Maybe it was he worked me over, and he got one over on me.
He wants
they do that? Do they shotgun and then
he wants the media to shed light on it so that it gets called on Sunday.
Well,
that can't be a serious call. I'm sorry.
I think it was serious, to be honest, but. It's not the first time I've been fooled. Andy Hart once called and made fun of me, and I didn't even know it was Andy Hart.
Austin's in Billerica.
Just real quick. As Evan predicted, Greg Roman's just been fired.
Yeah.
Oh, good call, Ev.
That was like, come on. That
but it was
tape
within minutes.
Gross.
Call me now
for horrible.
reading.
I mean, they had to like Jim Harbaugh was gonna. It was either going to be Roman or the whole staff was going to get.
Well, I like it that the Patriots are back to getting coaches fired.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
What's up, Austin? Austin, you there? Austin?
That's Austin's music.
Oh, okay. Austin gave up. So we'll go to Pennsylvania, where Patrick is. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, guys. I will be attending my first playoff game this Sunday in Gillette. Bought these tickets back in around Thanksgiving or so I'm really glad it's actually happening.
Wow.
They opened for a great game, great weather, and, of course, a win, but wanted to ask the experts who are, boots on the ground for every game, what's the ideal time to show up? Is the atmosphere, different on a playoff game when it comes to tailgating? Given the game's at 3, do you guys think I'm crazy if I tell my buddies I want to get there at 7?
7 a.m.?
7 a.m. Well, the lots don't open until 4 hours before the game.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes a little earlier.
There wouldn't be anybody here for at 7 a.m. for a 1 o'clock game.
I think that's a little early. You can't get in the lots anyway to tailgate. But, if you get here around noon, you could do that, or even 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
lots will be open.
11.
I appreciate the passion. I mean, we don't get to do that, so I haven't done it in 10 years.
I wish I had
tell you.
I wish I had a time.
I know the feeling. My first game here, me and my sister were here way too early.
I would say we usually get here 2-3 hours before kick, and the traffic's sort of starting to pick up around that point.
It was more busy this week than for the playoff game.
So if you're trying to get here before it really gets crazy,
but I think
I'd say
it tends to be busier for night games because everybody's everybody's coming the same time.
Yeah.
But get here at 11.
7 a.m. Jesus. Oof. I'm glad we were able to tell them not to do that.
What's the weather like? Is it supposed to be cold too?
It might snow.
Well, I like what they do in Buffalo, where they allow the RVs to come in and park overnight.
Really?
Yeah.
I did that.
You did that?
I did.
Yeah. We should do that.
Fun. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
98.
I'm in.
I think it was 98.
Talk about hardos.
RV.
They also fired their offensive line coach.
Yeah. No, that.
L wants to know first. He says Evan's cameo on the post-game show was fantastic. We need more post-game Evan. Second,
Evan.
What makes Paul more angry? The Drake May nickname, or when Chisholm has a more productive game than Pop?
I'll let you know when it happens.
Wow.
Chisholm did a nice 20-yard catch in this game.
No. Yeah, that's true. He had a catch.
Yeah. They were playing cloud to the
1-1.
field. A lot of cloud to the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
Just kept throwing those whole shots.
No, I'd like to see more out of Pop. I had a little talk with Ev this morning, and
He's really upset about it.
I'm not upset about it. I
get
saw
triggered
Pop
by
get open a little
random
bit,
things.
and I'm starting to wonder if he's just not really Drake's kind of guy. And it just doesn't really seem to look his way consistently.
I do think the catch radius is an issue.
Yeah.
The Chargers also fired their O-line coach, Mike Devlin. Did we say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right. You were reading an email.
I wasn't listening.
Good, Fred.
It's been on my mind a lot with Pop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's speedy. He's fast. Seems like he creates separation. He's not the best against zone. I think that's the number one thing is, he's not the best at kind of understanding where the soft spots are and where, settle and things like that. But, and then I think the catch radius. Like, I think the fact that he's, a smaller guy is a little bit harder to throw to. And
I think Drake tends to throw the ball a little bit higher outside. I mean, I think of a lot of catches that we've seen from Henry, from Hooper, and from Hollins this year. That the ball was well outside the, sort of the torso. And you can't throw those same passes to Douglas.
No.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of his passes have been more down the field this year, and which is surprising. But I
don't care if it's Chisholm, if it's Williams, if it's Douglas. They're going to need somebody to help out Diggs and Booty.
Yep.
This could be a Pop game.
Yeah.
I could see Houston playing man. He had a good game against them last year, and even though the Patriots stuff has changed significantly, Houston really hasn't. It's the same defense, same coaching staff. If they play a lot of man coverage, whether it's them or Denver down the road or whatever, like they're going to have somebody that can get open.
First touchdown pass of Drake May's career. Does anybody remember it?
Keyshawn Booty, right? The bomb
behind
the Booty bomb.
Behind
Stingley.
Oh, can beat him
Point
over the top.
Perillo.
Take a shot.
Jordan writes in, it's
Or
amazing.
10.
This is a good email for Paul.
Oh.
It's amazing how little respect the Patriots have gotten from the national media.
Yeah.
All I heard was how Caleb is an elite quarterback or the 49ers upsetting the Eagles, but nothing on the Patriots defense absolutely dominating the Chargers. All I hear is the Patriots haven't beaten anyone. Let's see what happens. But then I thought of all our best teams had a chip on their shoulder, whether it was the Brady 4-game suspension year or the Julian telling Tom you're too old, then going on to beat Kansas City on the road. I think this team can ride the you haven't beat anyone mantra all the way to a Super Bowl victory. So there you go.
Now that one, I think, was what you were talking about with the call.
I think so, too. I mean, I know how you watch that game on Saturday night and not just watch Caleb in the second half and be like, that throw he made on fourth down was...
He stinks.
Unbelievable. I mean, that was crazy.
Let me fill you in from 2 to 6 on the Sports Hub. He stinks.
He's got some words to his game. Like, he's way more inconsistent than Drake May is right now. But he makes some throws, man, that like only a couple guys can make in the league. It was a fun game.
Yeah.
Justin and Brookline, two critical questions for everyone. Not just the ball knowers regarding the defense. One, how did Zach Kerr and the Patriots defense solve the tight end coverage in this game? I feel like Gadsden was blanketed, but I couldn't tell who was on him in coverage.
I'll tell you what my opinion of this is, and maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like they were just forcing him to get it out so quick that he just didn't. It's not his favorite guy. It's if he had time to scan the field and get to him. I think we saw him one fourth down play. He did get to him. But they felt like they were forcing the issue, and he really wants to go to Lab McConkey, the 3 receivers that he has, and they just weren't letting him get through it.
Yeah, they did. They played a lot of zone, so like it wasn't like it was like one particular guy on him the whole time. But one of the things that they did do that I liked was they played a little bit more dime defense, 6 defensive backs, and they put Del Pettis on the field a little bit. And Del Pettis had a couple of good man coverage reps against him. But I like it when they put that extra defensive back on the field because you can do something else with the third safety. The third safety can blitz. He can play, robber coverage in the middle of the field. Gives you a lot more flexibility on third down.
Also, he wants to know, does anyone else agree that Robert Spillane's voice kind of sounds like the McCourty twins? Yes, I do agree.
A little raspy.
I was thinking that just the other night when I was listening.
That's going to be in my head now. I'm going to need to.
Yeah, close your eyes. It does sound like Devin a little bit.
Out of all of the 53 guys in that locker room, the one that came out with the fire quote, I would never have guessed would have been Spillane. Like, he's usually so like tight-lipped and kind of close to the vest type of guy. And when he gave that response about what the Chargers players were saying, I was like, holy crap, you said that?
What was your question exactly? We didn't hear the question. We just got
I just asked him, as the guy that was obviously wearing the green dot, like, what was it like, hearing Core call that game? And that's when he just said,
watching Spillane play, like, I felt like there was no sign of any kind of ankle injury to me at all, and it made me think that they really probably might have just been like, let's just shut you down and get you fully healthy.
The last game for sure, I think he could have come back for. I think they did the same thing with Milton Williams.
Yeah, it was just really cool to watch him communicate, like just watching him pre-snap, just direct guys, and they shift here, and he's moving guys around. You can see him making hand signals to check in and out of things, and all their different bunches and trips and all the different checks that they make in a game. And he was just on it. He was just on all of it.
I think you can tell a lot about a defense when you watch them and you see the communication like that, and you see how quickly everyone's on the same page. And you'll see other defenses sometimes, and even the Patriots defense at times over the years, but you can see that frantic communication right before the snap of, is everybody getting the signal? And a lot of times with this Patriots defense, when they're on, you just see everybody looks, everybody does a thing, and then boom, right back in. You can tell that they're all locked in.
Nick in Boston writes in, I agree with Evan that getting a playoff win helps validate this season. It also helps fight off the Twitter trolls, which is just as important.
Of course.
Since the Texans play a vanilla scheme built on having better players across the board, what is the approach for McDaniels to exploit them? What is the weakness? Also, if Vidarian Lowe had the game that Campbell had against the Chargers, the fan base would be melting down. I think we are seeing his limitations at the highest level. I will wait until the summer to take my Membo victory lap.
Well, Membo plays right tackle, so that would have really helped. But yeah, they look. Campbell struggled in the game, and I'm not going to say that he didn't. It's not the same as Vidarian Lowe, because Vidarian Lowe is not a rookie playing his first ever playoff game, and isn't you're not expecting him to improve at all. Like Campbell, you're hoping that this was a learning experience for him, and something that he can grow from and experience for the first time. So I think that was a little bit of the part of why Jared Wilson played in this game too. Like I think that they view both those guys on the left side. I don't know if it's going to be at center or guard for Wilson, but they're going to be two starters on this offensive line for at least their rookie contracts, they think. And you hope that you're going to be playing a lot of playoff games, during that span of time. And the only way to get them ready for that is to have them play.
You know who deserves, kind of an apology?
Chisholm?
No, Garrett Bradbury. Coming in, everyone's like, oh, look at his stats against the pass, last year with the Vikings. He's going to be terrible. He hasn't been. He's been fine.
So I would agree with your assessment of the player's performance. He's been more than fine. I think he's been excellent all season. But do you have to apologize for people who said that he didn't have a good year last year?
Yeah, because they didn't put it in context.
What was the context?
If you look close about what was happening during those games, it wasn't all his fault.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Freddie broke down the Vikings tape.
This is one of those things where PFF had him here. No, you can watch the game.
I watched the game for him. like the pass protection for him in this last year in Minnesota was rough.
So what happened then? Did you feel like he
he's been really good.
Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder how much of it is system related. Guys talk a lot about how streamlined this system is and the pass protection rules are, and this stuff like that. I mean, this is essentially Dante Scarnecchia's system that Josh McDaniels still runs, just with it, his own twist on it. So the proof's in the pudding of whether it works or not. And I just wonder if maybe that the system change helped him out a little bit. But I mean, it's not, Paul's right. Like last year in Minnesota was tough. Like, but this year was much better.
His whole career hasn't been like that.
He's never been like a great pass protector because he's a little bit undersized.
Center,
But last year was particularly bad, and to his credit, he's bounced back. And I think at this point, him and Moses, I thought Moses was probably their best lineman in this game on Sunday night. You probably want to bring those guys back for another year and keep it rolling if you can.
Yeah.
So then, but the reason I thought of that is, you talked about Jared Wilson. Like, if the ultimate plan is to move him at center, how long are you going to delay that?
I know. It's a good question. And I think Jared Wilson's a center. I think it just fits his body type better and it fits his skill set better because he is a little bit undersized to play guard and gets pushed around a little bit at guard by some of the bigger defensive tackles. So I would move him to center if they can. But Bradbury's been so solid that it is a tough decision.
Miles writes in, something that bugged me on Sunday. All day during the morning and afternoon games, the NFL was using the virtual spot assist on close calls for first downs. Then the Patriots game comes on, and Herbert, I think, reaches through on a third down, and the rest felt like he reached his arm out in the pile to get the first. Even the commentators didn't think he got it. The play didn't end up mattering. I'm just curious what constitutes the use of the spot assist feature and why they couldn't just use it there.
So two different things. I would agree that I thought that was a curious reversal of their original call, that he had made the line to gain. The virtual assist, the ball was spotted wherever it's spotted. And then they virtually assist to see if he got the first down. That wasn't in question. Where they put the ball got the first down. The question was, did they put the ball in the right spot? Did Herbert get where, as far as they spotted the ball? And I think the Collinsworth and Tirico felt like they didn't. I think we all kind of felt in the press box that didn't really seem like it was definitive that he had reached the line to gain, right? I mean, I'm speaking for you guys. I didn't think he got the first down when we were watching.
Did they call it short?
They called it short.
And they reversed it.
Correct.
Yeah, which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter. Well,
and then they had another one where the Patriots...
But the whole virtual assist is not needed.
The whole
where they
virtual
put the
assist
ball,
is
he was past the thing. The problem was, I think it was a bad spot.
The whole virtual assist thing is, I don't understand it. It adds nothing.
It's useless.
It's absolutely useless. Like, it doesn't spot the ball. It's just measuring whether he got the first down, just like the chain gang would if they ran the chains out there like they normally do. So I just... Maybe it's the first step towards... like technology spotting the ball, and they just wanted to test this step first before they threw the gamut at it. But
it's tough.
What a waste of time.
And just to reiterate, just real quick, they did reverse it. The call in the field was that he was stopped short of the line to gain. The call was reversed by replay. The replay official reviewed it, and he determined that he had reached the line to gain. So it wasn't like, if they brought the sticks out or they did virtual assist, it would have showed that he was short. That's not what the issue was. The issue was where they spotted the ball.
Yeah.
Barton Poland says, I hate to be that guy. I thought this is interesting. I know it's a little bit off topic.
Okay.
But I believe this deserves an explanation, as it's been the vocal point of the past few shows. Didn't want to ruin the fun, as I absolutely love the nickname. But all the Drake May nickname origin theories are wrong. The truth is, it's unfortunately just a stolen bit. It originated in 2019 and was first used for Naz Reid of Minnesota Timberwolves. It started with Wolves fans just randomly typing Naz Reid under random posts online, so Naz Reid became his nickname. Then, in the NFL, Giants fan then used it for Evan Neal. But as he sucks, nobody but the Giants fans remember it. And last year, Patriots fans, mainly Drake May lover, just started using it for Drake. That's it. All the Tom Brady theories, etc., are completely false. The truth is, it's just a stolen bit.
Yes and no.
Okay.
So he's right about Naz Reid. I know, that's true. This is not.
So that was 7 years ago.
They didn't invent it in that sense. But this is definitely picking up way more steam than the Naz Reid thing ever did.
That's beside the point.
But Naz Reid's a sixth man in the NBA that comes off the T-Wolves bench. Like, this is a much different thing. And then the Tom Brady thing was that they were calling him Drake Tom Brady May, as if to say he's the next GOAT.
We know that,
right?
We've been over that,
right? So then that's. We were talking about the origin of it from Drake May.
Okay.
No one cares about what happened with Naz Reid 10 years ago.
Okay. I kind of care if it's a stolen bit.
It's not. I don't call it stolen. That's a stretch.
But it was already being used.
I mean, other people have been called the GOAT before, but Brady, it's more applicable.
I don't care for the goat either.
On ESPN yesterday, I heard him refer to Josh Allen, and that was like, oh, this can't. No.
Oh no, you can't. Now that's stolen.
No, that's stolen. Get out of here with that.
I don't understand what the problem is, whether it was stolen or not. Like I don't know.
Well, I just get back to the original premise. Not all that funny.
I don't know why it needs to be funny. Yeah, I don't know why it needs to be funny.
I just don't think it's funny.
Nicknames aren't supposed to be
Not
funny.
funny. He doesn't find it funny at all.
Nicknames are fun.
They're fun, but they don't have to be funny.
This one's not.
There's a difference.
Neither.
Perfect.
It's not fun nor funny.
Nas Reed.
Is it fun or funny?
Good player.
I liked Nas Reed at LSU.
Nas Reed's a nice player, but like we're not. He's a stretch 5. You wouldn't understand.
Here's an
Basketball,
email.
Mike.
I just saw the headline, and I knew I might like it. Second down sneaks.
Fred is so annoyed by those.
Longtime fan up here in Buffalo country. Wonder if you ever discussed the 2nd and 1 quarterback sneaks. This bothers the heck out of me. Thank you, Josh from Syracuse. Maybe with the short yardage problems, the thought is let's just get the first down and move on. Should be a down a distance where we take a shot downfield. And I agree. You don't necessarily have to be a shot, but your whole playbook is open. If you don't get it, if it's an incomplete or whatever,
your whole playbook is open on the first down.
You know, like why would you waste it on a quarterback sneak?
Because they can't pick up a 3rd and 1. They really struggle in short yardage third down.
So you've gained a yard.
Yeah, exactly, and you don't have to play 3rd down.
I don't like it.
I hear what you're saying in terms of like it in a like
even a little,
and I think it's something that they've always done.
Even a little swing pass to the back. Maybe he breaks it. There's no chance of a bigger play once the quarterback dives forward. That's it.
I don't think they want to be in 3rd and short. I don't think they want to be in.
I agree with you that they've struggled in those situations
one of the
this
worst
year.
Offenses
but I think
in the league.
that Josh's offense is not just Josh. It was when Billy O was here and going back to Charlie Weiss. They did that a lot. The 2nd and 1 sneak just to get the first down.
Oh yeah,
and
I hate it.
And Fred is, in fairness to Fred, this is something that has bothered him for a long time. But I kind of agree with Fred on it. I think it's passing up an opportunity to make a play.
I agree.
And if you can't get the next 2, then what are we doing?
I agree if you're on the other side of the 50. Like if you're on the opponent's side of the 50 and you're right, let's say you're between, the 25 and the 50, that's a shot play opportunity to the end zone, right? So it's a little bit different. Whereas if you're on, the other side, your side of the 50-yard line, I think, to stay out of 3rd down there and just get.
I would say if you're backed up in your own end, like maybe inside your 20 and it's 2nd and 1, sure, get the first down. There's value in the field position or whatever. Otherwise, you should be able to get the first down with 2 more plays.
You should be able to, but not everybody can.
Noah thinks from Toronto, Ben Brown needs to start over Jared Wilson. Wilson has not been good all year, and I think Vrabel is only starting him to make his draft look better. I don't know about that.
I agree that the Ben Brown conversation needs to be had. I don't expect it to be had because it seems like that's the 5 they started the season with, and that's the 5 that they kind of want to stick with. But there's no doubt that Ben Brown has been better than what we saw from Jared Wilson on Sunday night. That's for sure.
Well, maybe he wants to justify Ben Brown's extension now, and maybe it's time to switch and say this is why we extended him too.
I think there is something to be said for the fact that Ben Brown's a little bit girthier. He's a little bit bigger body type.
Yeah, I like it.
And especially when you have Campbell at left tackle, who is already a little bit of a narrower build. When you put him and Jared Wilson next to each other on the left side, they're just small. They're just not. They're just a small left side of the
there's
line.
a lot of space out there.
Yeah. So that's what the whole wingspan thing is. It's the amount of space that you literally take up. Your square footage on the field. And I think Ben Brown's, got a little bit more size to him and a little bit more width to him that allows him to take up a little bit more space.
Working out some kinks.
Oh.
Patty's in Agamon. What's up, Patty?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, today.
Hello.
So, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So, just talking about the officiating, Paul, I'm with you. I don't want to see any more flags than we necessarily need to see. In fact, one of you guys had the idea of, the illegal man downfield. I think that needs to go, or at least, make it within 5 yards. Nothing crazy, but, there's way too many of those calls that are being thrown out there.
It'd be impossible to play defense if you take out illegal man downfield.
Yeah, I don't think you could just let the guys go downfield and get out and block and whatnot, but I do think that that there's a happy medium to what Patty's talking about. Maybe give him a little more leeway. If it's clear that the guy is he's pass blocking, not running down to get in front of a screen.
The issue is with the RPOs. And
Yeah.
like in college,
Absolutely.
it's crazy. Like they let the linemen get like 6-8 yards down the field and the quarterback's holding the mesh.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't stop
For me,
it.
it's more about the formations, the illegal shifts, those kinds of penalties. I think they could probably shorten, shrink the rule book down a little bit.
Pretty good job by Ron Torbert on Sunday night, huh?
I
Not
think
too bad.
for the most part, I thought the officials weren't really a big part of these games. I thought there were some calls that were missed in the game, but I would rather have it that way and not look at it and say, geez, we got another ref show on our hands. I thought the Rams game, the first playoff game, I was like, here we go. It's going to be the same thing that we've gotten all year. The refs are going to inject themselves. And then I was pleasantly surprised that the remaining games, the teams generally decided it.
Craig and Charlotte, can't believe we're here talking about the division round playoffs and how to advance to the AFC Championship. Admittedly, I liked our matchup against the Steelers better, but after watching last night's game, I see a path past the Texans too if we can neutralize some of their pass rush. On that note, one thing we haven't really seen this team do much this year, aside from maybe the 2-minute drill, is use up-tempo to keep the defense on the field and wear them down. Do you think Josh is saving a tactic like this for a time like this? Or do you think it's too risky for a young team to execute?
I wouldn't. I mean, as Evan laid out, they don't really change personnel much. They kind of do what they do. So sometimes I think that's an advantage for the offense when they do a lot of switching. They want to have a lot of confusion.
They do rotate up front a lot, though. But last night, those guys were in and out.
But not like to the point where, all right, this is the situation. We need a whole new group of guys. Like, I mean, there'll be a little bit of mixing and matching with the front, but I think they feel
had like
comfortable with all
17
those.
guys play more than 20% of the snaps on defense.
But like 4 tackles maybe, and then a couple.
No, what I'm saying is they had Autry, Rankins, Derek Barnett. There was a guy Jones. Not 98. I want to say,
but it's just rotation, right? Like it's not like
I think they rotate
but it's
a
not
lot
like,
up
oh no,
front.
we can't rotate this time. We're screwed. Like they're fine to stay with our package
No.
out there, and you want
I
to
would
run
do
tempo.
hurry
We're
up
not
if I
gonna
thought
do
that was my best way to move the ball. Not because I want to dictate what the because you guys, both of you guys, talked about how the Texans are one of those we do what we do kind of defenses. So it's not like you're trying to get them in a package that you don't want them to they're going to do it anyway, whether you can get them out of nickel like Evan said with Petrie and sort of affect where he's lining up. You might be able to do that, but they're going to play their style, I would think. But I think you're going to have Drake May play really well. You want to move the ball, but like I looked at it last night as I thought the Steelers had some opportunities and Rodgers isn't in a spot anymore to physically do it. I think Drake May will be able to make some of those plays that Rodgers couldn't last night.
I think certainly, if you get them into base defense and you want to go tempo so that they can't take the base defense off the field, then maybe you can catch them in the matchup like that. I'm not a big fan of tempo in general.
You don't
though.
even have. It's just no huddle, right? Just go no huddle. You don't necessarily have to up the tempo.
You can't huddle, but yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that in general. I think it's kind of like smoke and mirrorsy. Like it can work situationally, it can work in certain spots, but I think Chip Kelly taught us that that's not going to work as like a way of offense in the league.
I think they used it against Rex Ryan a lot, who wants to do a lot of walking around and who's going to be where, and like at a certain point they're like, we're just going to run the play,
right?
And you do what you want to do,
Right.
So
good, Deuce. Daniel's in Chicago. What's up,
Didn't
Daniel?
work against Rex Ryan.
What's up, Daniel?
Hey guys, first time caller. Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Kind of.
You got some
It's
work
not-
going on in the background.
Daniel.
I got off speaker. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we
go
can
ahead.
hear you. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. This is a question, I guess, for Evan. Just like looking back up the game and seeing maybe Herbert had a couple opportunities to hit Ladd McConkey down the field. I know he was open on the right side one time, and there was just all the space. And then when he was running down the seam, maybe he could have thrown a ball over the top. I was wondering if you guys are worried that Stroud next Sunday is going to be able to hit anything vertical on our defense. I know our defense played really well, but yeah, that's my question. Thanks. I'll hang up.
Yeah, I would say I think I mentioned this during the break, but the all 22 dogs are out for Justin Herbert right now, and rightfully so. He did not play well. But when you start to, we're all guilty of this at times. When you start to sit there and watch the film back on your computer screen, it's really easy for you to sit there and say, well, this guy's open, right? That guy's open.
Right.
This guy's open. You're not the one like sitting in the pocket like with Christian Barmore and Milton Williams coming after you. So I think that there's some element to it both ways. I think he missed probably the 4 or 5 opportunities that the Patriots gave him to push the ball down the field. And I think you said this earlier, Paul, that he missed all 5. Like it wasn't like he hit 3 of the 5.
I think what was it, like 14 yards was like the longest play of the day.
He was 0 for 5, whether that was missing open guys or the ones he tried to attempt.
And Stroud did hit some of those last night. I mean, Stroud played a terrible game overall, but he hit Kirk, I think, twice on downfield throws. He had another long catch and run that was a shorter throw. He also put one right in Noel. Is it Noel?
Yeah.
Not Noel,
Yeah,
Noel.
Noel.
Put it right in his hands, and the rookie let it get through his hands into his body, and then when the hit came, it knocked the ball loose. That was a good throw, too, deep down the field. So there were opportunities that Stroud took advantage of. I thought Rodgers had the same opportunities and either didn't get the proper time or didn't connect on them. So you will get chances to make plays down the field. Again, if Stroud plays like he did Monday night, they're going to lose. He's not going to get away with that against the Patriots.
Yeah, the one thing with Stroud is he wants to throw in-breaking routes to the intermediate part of the field. Like that's
where Nico Collins missing is huge.
That's
if
his
he doesn't
game.
Play.
That's his game. He wants to, if you look at all the splits, his efficiency throwing the intermediate middle is great.
He's pretty accurate. You see some of those throws last night, to one to Higgins on an in-cut, one to
he wants to throw
Hutchinson early in the game.
The ins,
Who's the bigger loss, Gonzo for the Patriots or Collins for the Texans?
I'd say it's a wash. I think those are 2 really important guys for their teams.
I think that Gonzo has a better chance to play.
No, but that's not the question.
I think it's a wash too, but I think Gonzo has the best chance to play.
From the looks of it, I agree, but who knows? Like Paul said,
I mean, I don't know.
these can
Nico
be tricky.
Collins looked like he was on like Saturn or something.
I thought so
hope he's
too.
okay.
But if you had told me after the game that Christian Gonzalez was going to see some of you guys and say I'm fine, I would have said no way. Not based on the way he walked down the tunnel.
Yeah,
but he was.
Yeah.
So if you're Houston, maybe you flew home and he's feeling a lot better today. But
a lot of
would
guys
agree.
say they're fine, and Milton Williams gets put on IR a day later.
Well,
So I'm not saying that's going to happen with Gonzo.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't, and you're right about that. Maybe Houston gets home and he feels a lot better. I agree with you guys. The visual with the towel on the head and getting carted off didn't look like he's going to play this week.
Usually with a head, the guy walks to the locker room. Usually.
Yeah, it was interesting on Friday listening to Jared Wilson just talk about his experience. You don't really hear about players talk about it a lot, and he was saying, you feel okay, and then you wake up and you have a headache, and you just have to roll with the punches a little bit, and then finally, he woke up, he didn't have a headache, and it's like, all right, now I'm getting better. But it's one of those things you just don't know. I don't think we have any idea on either of those guys.
Yeah, it's weird because that game, Jared Wilson didn't leave the game, but had a worse concussion than Travion Henderson, who came back the very next week and played the very next week. And Jared Wilson missed 2 full games with the concussion.
They should have taken him out.
I think he said it was like the last play or the second.
Yeah,
last
it was
play.
like the last play of the game. So that's why he didn't get taken out.
Eldred, North Carolina. What's up, Eldred?
Eldred. That's not like
That's a rare hang up by Eldred.
Pulled over by
Nathan writes in, I wanted to share a brief point about how this season has been framed at times, along with a question ahead of the Patriots-Texans matchup. While I do not think analysts lean too heavily on history, media narratives often frame games around past streaks and long-standing trends as if they meaningfully predict outcomes. In a league built on parity, that approach can miss what actually decides a game. A good example was Texans-Steelers. By historical standards, Pittsburgh had every reason to win. They had not lost a Monday Night Football game since '91, while Houston had never won a road playoff game. If history were truly predictive, that result should have felt inevitable. Instead, it had no bearing once the game began. Execution, blah, blah, blah. That is why niche Historical arguments about why a team cannot win often fall apart. History is relevant only until it is broken, and in the NFL, it is broken constantly. From that perspective, there is no inherent reason the Patriots cannot become the first team to win a Super Bowl after a 4-win season the year before.
That was a very long way to get to that point.
Because I would just say you picked and choose what you wanted to use for your historical comparisons, because what I've been seeing all day on ESPN as we were doing our show is the Steelers' recent playoff history.
7 losses in a row.
They have been down by 21 or more points now 7 consecutive playoff losses. So did you use that as your history? Because that's what I was using as my history. This team has no chance.
Right.
They're not as good as the playoff teams because they're not really a playoff team.
Right.
The one I was thinking of was West Coast coming east in cold weather.
Yeah.
Just what the Chargers just did.
Yeah.
And then put up 3 points. And I don't think that's why they put up 3 points. But that will go as another, stat in the West Coast indoor team, outdoor team. You know that.
Now,
that whole
technically,
thing.
SoFi Stadium is an outdoor stadium.
Yes, outdoors in 80-degree weather.
Yeah, and the same thing that was going around last week with like the circadian rhythms of West Coast teams.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be ready to play
later.
at this
Better
time.
for
Like
them.
you can come up with all these things.
One other question from Nate. He says, if something goes wrong early in the game Sunday, which team do you trust more to settle in and respond within the game rather than letting it spiral?
Patriots.
Yes.
I think that's
They've shown it already.
That's how you want this game to go. If
Yeah.
you want the Patriots to get a lead and make that Texans offense have to score.
Yeah, I just watched C.J. Stroud the other last night, and I didn't think he responded well to some of the early adversity. And it seemed like it rattled him, whereas I've seen Drake May have some struggles early in games, and he just immediately responds to it.
Yeah, and it's still a new development though. That's like I still am like I think I feel good about it, but I'm also it's also new.
Plus, they're home.
Yeah.
I would give the home team more of an opportunity to overcome early stumbles.
Mary, Mary writes in. Official, : Sean Smith will be the referee for the next game of the Patriots. Unfavorable trend for the home team. While other referees see the home team win 55.9% of the time, with Smith, it drops to 40.8%. Averages 11 flags per game in his last 4 playoff games.
Wow. That's a staggering number. Home teams only win 40% of the time when this guy refs?
Yep. Was the referee for the Patriots Giants of this season, 33-15 in favor of New England.
Oh, so that was one of the 40%?
The Patriots' record with him as referee is 2-1. Okay. Some good insight from Mary. Thank you.
I try to ignore those things. I don't even want to. I don't want to know who the ref is. I don't want. Like last week, I heard I know Torbert, so I was a little bit onto it. But
The best is when like somebody like Mike Reese, who I love, will tweet like the ref's number, number
Who's his back judge?
Number 62 in your program.
I love me some Mike Reese, but man, he'll tweet some minutia that is just not really of any value.
Parker says part of why Paul is struggling with the nickname of Drake May is because this is internet culture 2026. Things don't always make sense, but that is
I just
the point.
learned the Spider-Man meme.
That is the point. 6'7" literally means nothing. When it comes to deep internet culture, Drake's nickname not making complete sense is part of what is fueling it. It becomes a if you know thing, even though there's not much to know.
All right.
All right. Well, listen.
I think that's largely accurate.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to the last couple of calls?
Listen.
Guess not.
No, we got a couple callers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I look at my computer screen and then I look up at the board, I can't read it.
Sean.
Eshawn. Otherwise known as Sean from Boston. What's up?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Okay.
Awesome. So I just had a couple things that I wanted to say. The first thing was that I was at the game this past weekend, and it was my first game ever. And it was just a great experience because I remember in the 2014 divisional round against the Ravens, there was a moment where the crowd was singing Your Love by the outfield.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounded like such a cool experience to be there, and I was able to experience that feeling again when it happened this past weekend in my first game ever. So I just wanted to, shout out the fan base because it's just, such an awesome community and such an awesome feeling.
It's a good crowd Sunday night.
Yeah, that's
good crowd.
Good shout out, Sean. That's actually my thing for the PU TV show. I'm going to talk about the crowd. And Vrabel even mentioned it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Diggs evidently didn't, but everybody else thought it was good.
And I thought maybe, I don't know, maybe the sound was better, but it was one of the few games I can remember here at Gillette where the fans sang along for the national anthem.
Yep.
which doesn't happen a lot here.
Yeah, there was 2 times Hunter Henry's touchdown and Ellis's fumble recovery where the press box was shaking.
The Hunter Henry touchdown, I definitely felt it.
And that doesn't happen very often here.
So
I don't remember it since that game that he's talking about. Ishan's talking about the Baltimore game in 14 is the last time I remember the stadium shaking.
It's a new vibe here with the team. Maybe it's a new vibe with the fans too.
It's hard to like get really jazzed up for a 16-3 game.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I disagree. Those defensive stops get you going.
No.
Come on.
But you're waiting for that big thing
I'm
to
not saying
open that.
Uneventful.
I think Diggs was talking about some of the lulls, and I think some of the lulls were because it was a punt fest for 2 quarters.
Yeah, but
so
when you make them go 3 and out, or you force them to punt on a 3rd down stop, the crowd should get up for that.
I don't disagree, but it's not going to happen like it would for a touchdown or turnover.
Have the player introductions grown on you at all? I know you weren't a fan of that early. You still don't like it. You like introduced as a team.
Yeah, the thing about player introductions is they introduce it, then they stand there for the anthem, and everything goes down. So like there's no way to keep that going.
We're not gonna win them over on that.
I don't think so.
Them introducing
Fred's got a little Paul in him.
the potential MVP of the league on Sunday Night Football in the playoffs.
You don't like fun
in
general.
Yeah, I like funny.
You just don't like fun.
Right. Marty's in Tacoma, Washington. What's up, Marty?
Marty.
Marty.
Hey, not much. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey. Great.
Hey,
what's up?
One thing I wanted to say about the Patriots, they're saying that like our schedule isn't good enough, or
we're not saying that. You are.
No. The media is saying that we haven't played enough people, so therefore our run isn't as good, right?
Right.
Look back in history, and the 2 other instances where a team won the Super Bowl that had a weak schedule, in fact, just about as weak as ours is this year, was the greatest show on turf, and when the Tampa Bay Bucks won the Super Bowl. Now, nobody's going back and saying, the greatest show on turf wasn't really the greatest show on turf.
Right.
I mean, nobody says anything bad about them, but they have to have a caveat as to why we're winning.
Right.
Okay, that's one. The second thing I wanted to say was that it's just a quick story about being a Pats fan. I live in Washington State now.
Yes.
I grew up in Massachusetts. And in 1978, I was at a church function. It was like a Protestant church. I'm a Catholic, but I went to a Protestant church because they had a raffle, and I won the raffle, and I was given an NFL football by Steve Grogan in 1978. I've been a Pats fan for life since then.
Okay.
I got Pats Patriots Inc. I'm serious. I look forward to this. I think they're going to make a good run. I think if they can shore up the line, like maybe throw an extra tight end on the left side to help Will and Wilson out.
Yep.
Or Campbell and Wilson. I think that May should have time to throw the ball downfield.
All right, Marty. Thanks for the call.
I don't know.
Thanks for closing it out.
I know.
For that call.
I know we have to go, but
I'll take the hit for that.
after being the Chargers, I haven't heard a single person bring up the schedule now. And I'm not saying like
Dan Graziano did, but
I'm not saying it as in like we shut them up. I'm just saying like
you are.
Like if you beat the Chargers and the Tech and like you make it all the way to the AFC Championship game, I don't think people are going to really be talking about the schedule.
If you make it all the way, you would have had to have beaten good teams.
Yeah.
So that's like
that's my point.
Yeah, just beat the teams and shut them up. That's it.
Sure.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Catch 22 tomorrow.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Still going.
Love it. All right. See you then.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.